The quantum realm beckons your consciousness into realms beyond ordinary perception. It's a place where the very fabric of reality seems to shimmer, not with the solid, predictable gleam of a polished stone, but with the ethereal glow of starlight filtered through a nebulae. Imagine, for a moment, your awareness as a gentle tide, ebbing and flowing, not just across the shores of your physical body, but reaching out, subtly, into the vast, unseen ocean of existence. This is the invitation of quantum consciousness, an exploration of how your inner world might be more deeply intertwined with the fundamental nature of the universe than you have ever dared to dream. Think of your mind not as a solitary island, but as a delicate ripple expanding outward from a single, luminous drop of awareness. When you focus your attention, when you truly observe something, you are, in a very real sense, participating in its existence. This might sound like a profound philosophical musing, and indeed it is, but it's also grounded in the peculiar, often counterintuitive laws of quantum physics. The universe, it seems, is not merely a passive stage upon which events unfold, it is a dynamic participant responding to the very act of your attention. Consider, if you will, the curious case of the quantum particle, like an electron. Before you observe it, before you look for it, an electron doesn't exist in a single, definite location. It's more like a cloud of probability, a ghostly whisper of potential, spread out across space. It's as if the electron is dreaming of all the places it could be. But the moment you try to pin it down, the moment your instrument of observation interacts with it, that cloud collapses. The electron suddenly decides where it is, snapping into a singular, observable state. This is the essence of the observer effect, a cornerstone of quantum mechanics that suggests your consciousness, your act of looking, plays an active role in shaping what you perceive. It's as if the universe is a vast, intricate symphony, and your observation is the conductor's baton, bringing individual notes into being from a sea of potential harmonies. Before you listen, the music exists as a possibility, a spectrum of vibrations. But when you tune your ear, when you focus your awareness, the symphony begins to resolve into distinct melodies and rhythms. Your attention doesn't just perceive the music, it helps to manifest it in a tangible way. This idea extends to the very nature of reality itself. In the quantum world, things are not always what they seem. Particles can be in multiple places at once, a phenomenon known as superposition. It's like having a coin spinning in the air, neither heads nor tails until it lands. Except in the quantum realm, the coin can be both heads and tails simultaneously, a blurred state of being, until an observer forces it to choose. Your own consciousness, then, becomes a powerful tool, a cosmic coin flipper, shaping the probabilities of existence with every conscious thought, every focused intention. Consider, if you will, the concept of entanglement, where two particles become so intimately linked that they share the same fate, regardless of the distance separating them. Imagine two perfectly synchronized dancers, miles apart yet moving in perfect unison. If one dancer spins clockwise, the other instantly spins counterclockwise as if connected by an invisible, instantaneous thread. This spooky action at a distance, as Einstein famously called it, hints at a profound interconnectedness within the universe, a web of influence that transcends space and time. Your own consciousness, in this grand cosmic dance, might be intricately entangled with the very fabric of reality, your inner state resonating with the outer world, in ways we are only beginning to comprehend. Think of your awareness as a single thread woven into an immense cosmic tapestry. When you pull on that thread, when you focus your attention on a particular point in the tapestry, you don't just see that point, you subtly influence the tension and pattern of the threads around it. Your consciousness isn't just a passive observer of the universe, it's an active weaver, contributing to the ongoing creation of reality. This brings us to the very nature of time, a concept so fundamental to our experience, yet so enigmatic in the quantum realm. We perceive time as a linear progression, a river flowing inexorably from past to future. But in the quantum world, time can behave in much stranger ways. Events that seem to happen in sequence in our macroscopic world can appear to be happening simultaneously, or even in reverse at the quantum level. Is it possible that time, as we understand it, is a construct of our own consciousness, a way for our minds to organize the vast, interconnected network of quantum events. Imagine time not as a river but as a vast, still lake, where every moment exists simultaneously. Your consciousness, then, is like a stone dropped into this lake, creating ripples that we perceive as the passage of time. The act of observation, of experiencing a moment, causes that particular ripple to become prominent, creating the illusion of a linear flow. The universe, perhaps, is not experiencing time in the same way we do. It might be in a perpetual state of becoming, a dream that is constantly unfolding, with our consciousness acting as the dreamer, shaping the narrative with every breath, every thought. Consider, if you will, the phenomenon of quantum tunneling, where a particle can pass through a barrier that it classically shouldn't have enough energy to overcome. It's like a ghost walking through a wall. This suggests that the strict boundaries we perceive in our everyday lives might be far more permeable at the fundamental level. Your own consciousness, too, might have the capacity to tunnel through limitations, to transcend perceived barriers, if only you learn to harness its subtle power. The universe whispers its secrets in the language of probabilities, of superposition, of entanglement. It asks us, are we merely passengers on this journey through existence, or are we active participants, shaping the very landscape of our reality with the gentle touch of our awareness? The sleepy scientist, as you drift closer to the edge of understanding, begins to realize that the deepest mysteries of the cosmos might reside not in distant galaxies, but within the quiet chambers of your own mind. And as the dawn approaches, casting a soft glow upon the world, a new question begins to form, a question that will guide us into the next chapter. If the universe is indeed dreaming, what role does your consciousness play in its slumbering imagination? As the earth rests, your mind embarks on a voyage through space and time. Last we met, your awareness, like a curious explorer, dipped into the very fabric of existence, touching upon the strange dance of tiny entities and the curious role of observation. Now, we journey outward, far beyond the familiar glow of your bedroom, to the grandest stage of all the cosmos in its infancy. Imagine, for a moment, a canvas utterly devoid of color, of form, of even the faintest whisper of existence. This was not a void in the way you might imagine an empty room. This was an absence so profound, so complete, that it defies easy description. There was no before, in the way we understand it, no ticking clock to mark its passing. Yet within this unimaginable stillness, a potential, a latent energy, pulsed with a power that would soon reshape everything. It was a state of pure possibility, a seed waiting for the moment of its germination. Think of it like the quiet anticipation in your own body, before a dream begins to take shape, a subtle stirring that promises a world to unfold. But this stirring was not personal, it was universal, a cosmic awakening. This nascent energy wasn't scattered, it was incredibly concentrated, a point of unimaginable density and heat, a singularity from which all that you perceive today would eventually unfurl. Imagine, for a moment, a tightly coiled spring, wound with an immense force, holding within it the potential for explosive expansion. This is a crude likeness, of course, but it offers a glimpse of the energy contained. From this singular point, a momentous event occurred, an expansion so rapid and so vast that it continues to shape the cosmos even now. This was not an explosion into pre-existing emptiness, for there was no emptiness to explode into. Instead, it was the creation of everything, of the very stage upon which all of reality would play out. As this expansion began, the fundamental forces that govern our existence started to emerge. Gravity, the invisible hand that guides the celestial dance, began to assert its influence. Electromagnetism, the force behind light and all interactions, started to weave its intricate patterns. The strong and weak nuclear forces, the architects of matter itself, also began to take shape. These forces, once unified in the extreme conditions of the early moments, gradually separated, each finding its unique role in the unfolding cosmic narrative. Imagine, for a moment, a single drop of ink falling into a vast, clear pool. The ink doesn't just spread, it creates ripples, patterns, and swirls, transforming the entire body of water. In a similar, though infinitely more complex way, the initial expansion birthed a torrent of energy that, as it cooled and spread, began to coalesce. This early ink was a plasma, a soup of charged particles, protons, neutrons, and electrons, all zipping around at incredible speeds, too hot and energetic for atoms to form. The early cosmos was a blindingly bright place, filled with a radiant glow as photons, the carriers of light, bounced incessantly off these charged particles. It was like being inside a stellar furnace, a place where light itself was trapped, unable to travel freely. This period, often referred to as the Dark Ages, in a later context, was paradoxically a time of intense luminosity, but a luminosity that was opaque to itself. Imagine, for a moment, a dense fog that prevents you from seeing anything beyond your immediate surroundings. This was the state of the early cosmos. Photons were constantly scattering off free electrons, preventing them from traveling in straight lines. This scattering is what kept the universe opaque, a luminous but impenetrable veil. But as the universe continued its relentless expansion, it also cooled. This cooling allowed for a pivotal moment, a transition that would fundamentally alter the cosmos. After approximately 380,000 years, the temperature dropped enough for the positively charged nuclei to capture their negatively charged companions, the electrons. This process, called recombination, saw the formation of the first neutral atoms, primarily hydrogen and helium. Imagine, for a moment, a gentle breeze finally clearing away that dense fog. With the electrons now bound to atomic nuclei, photons were finally free to travel unimpeded across the vast expanse. This moment released the universe from its opaque embrace, allowing light to stream forth in all directions. This is the ancient light that we can still detect today, a faint echo of that primordial glow, known as the cosmic microwave background radiation. It's a snapshot of the universe when it was just a baby, a whisper from the very dawn of existence. This freed light, no longer scattering, began to travel through the expanding cosmos, carrying with it the subtle imprints of the density variations that had existed in the initial moments. These tiny variations, like faint ripples on the surface of that cosmic ink drop, were the seeds from which all structure would eventually grow. Gravity, ever present, began to pull matter together in these slightly denser regions. Imagine, for a moment, a vast, invisible web being woven across the cosmos, with the threads being the gravitational pull of matter. In the regions where matter was slightly more abundant, this web grew stronger, drawing in more and more material. Over immense stretches of what we now perceive as eons, these subtle variations grew, clumping together to form the first stars and galaxies. These early stars were giants, burning brightly and briefly, forged from the primordial hydrogen and helium. They were the universe's first architects, their immense gravitational pull and nuclear furnaces creating heavier elements, the very building blocks for future stars, planets, and perhaps even life. When these massive stars eventually met their explosive ends, they scattered these newly forged elements across the cosmos, enriching the cosmic soup for generations of stars to come. Your journey has taken you from a state of pure potential to the first whispers of structure, from an opaque luminescence to the slow emergence of light that travels unimpeded. You have witnessed the universe begin to dream, to take form, to weave its grand tapestry. But what happens when those first stars begin to die, and what new wonders are born from their ashes? Your mind, still adrift in the cosmic ocean, feels the pull of that next unfolding chapter. The gentle rhythm of your breath synchronizes with the pulse of the universe. Feel it, a subtle vibration that extends beyond your skin, beyond the room, beyond the planet. You've journeyed through the shimmering, uncertain dance of the very small, where existence itself seems to flicker and shift based on your observation. Then, you drifted through the grand tapestry of beginnings, witnessing the explosive birth of everything from a singular point of unimaginable brilliance. Now, as the world outside softens into twilight, your awareness expands further, not outward into vast emptiness, but inward into the very structure that holds it all together. We find ourselves drawn to the fabric of existence itself. Imagine, if you will, not a void, but a vast, invisible sheet, stretched taut in every direction, infinitely. This isn't a flimsy cloth, but something incredibly resilient, something that hums with a deep, inherent potential. This is the space-time continuum, your personal, ever-present stage. It's not merely a backdrop, It aids the stage, the curtains, the seats, and the very air you breathe within the grand theater of reality. Your journey through the early cosmos, the swirling nebulae and the formation of colossal structures, happened on this fabric, shaping its contours as it shaped the unfolding events. It is a dynamic, responsive medium, a cosmic loom weaving the ongoing story of all that is. Consider the way a heavy ball placed on a trampoline creates a dip, a curve in the otherwise flat surface. This simple, tangible image helps us grasp how massive objects, like stars and planets, interact with this fundamental fabric. They don't simply exist in space, they warp it, bend it, and create indentations. This bending, this curvature, is what we perceive as the gentle pull of gravity. It's not a mysterious force reaching out from afar, but a consequence of mass imprinting itself upon the very structure of reality. Your body, resting now, is itself a source of this subtle warping. You are a small, but significant, indentation on the space-time continuum, a point of influence in this grand, interwoven design. Think of it like a vast, silent river. The river itself is the space-time continuum, and the water flowing within it represents the progression of moments. Massive objects are like submerged boulders. They don't stop the flow, but they alter its path, creating eddies and currents around them. Planets orbit stars not because of an invisible tether, but because they are following the curves in the fabric created by the star's immense presence. The moon, in its nightly dance around your planet, is simply tracing the gentle slope of the Earth's space-time indentation. This continuous interaction, this perpetual shaping and reshaping, is the silent language of the cosmos, a constant conversation between mass and the fabric that contains it. We find ourselves drawn to the concept of entanglement, a phenomenon that suggests a deeper, more intimate connection woven into this fabric than even the gentle pull of gravity reveals. Imagine two coins spun simultaneously. In our everyday experience, one might land heads, the other tails, with no inherent connection. But in the quantum realm, if these coins were entangled, their fates would be intertwined, regardless of the distance separating them. If one lands heads, the other instantly lands tails, as if they share a secret, instantaneous communication. This isn't about sending a signal, which would be limited by the speed of cosmic messengers, but about a fundamental shared state. This interconnectedness, this shared destiny, hints at a profound unity underlying the apparent separateness of all things. The space-time continuum, then, might not be just a passive canvas, but an active participant in these intricate cosmic relationships, a medium that can hold and transmit these subtle, non-local connections. Consider the phenomenon of gravitational lensing. When a massive object like a galaxy sits between us and a more distant celestial body, the light from that distant body doesn't travel in a straight line. Instead, it bends, following the curves in space-time created by the intervening galaxy. This bending can magnify the distant object, or even distort its shape into arcs and rings, as if viewed through a cosmic magnifying glass. It's as if the fabric of existence itself is acting as a lens, revealing hidden vistas and altering our perception of the distant reaches of the cosmos. This bending of light is a direct manifestation of how mass sculpts the very pathways that information travels, illustrating the tangible impact of these subtle indentations. We find ourselves drawn to the idea that this fabric is not static, but possesses a subtle dynamism, a ripple effect that propagates through it. Think of dropping a pebble into a still pond. The ripples spread outwards, carrying the disturbance across the surface. Similarly, when massive objects accelerate or collide, they create disturbances in the space-time continuum that travel outwards as gravitational waves. These are not waves of sound, or of electromagnetic radiation, but ripples in the very structure of existence itself. They are the echoes of colossal cosmic events, whispering across the vastness, carrying information about the universe's most dramatic moments. Detecting these faint tremors allows us to the universe in a way that was previously unimaginable, tuning into the deep resonant frequencies of cosmic happenings. The universe whispers its secrets not in words, but in the subtle flex and flow of its fundamental structure. Your body, a collection of unimaginably complex arrangements of matter, contributes to this grand symphony of influence. The very act of resting, of breathing, is a form of participation. As you sink deeper into a state of calm awareness, you are not just observing the universe, you are becoming more attuned to its intrinsic nature, to the way it is woven, to the subtle ways it responds. The space-time continuum is not a distant, abstract concept, but the intimate, ever-present medium of your own existence. And as you drift closer to the edge of sleep, the question lingers: if the fabric of existence is this responsive, this interconnected, this dynamic, what else might it be dreaming? What other forms of awareness might be woven into its very being, just beyond our current grasp? The quiet hum of the cosmos continues, inviting you to listen more closely. The gentle hum of the cosmos welcomes your wandering mind. You feel it, a subtle vibration that resonates not just through the air, but through the very fabric of your being. It's a sound that predates the stars, a silent song sung by existence itself. In the quietude, you begin to notice something profound about the way this symphony unfolds. It doesn't simply is, it becomes. This unfolding, this ceaseless progression, is what we call the arrow of time. Think of it like a river, not a static lake. A lake might hold its waters, reflecting the sky in a constant state, but a river flows, always moving from its source towards the sea. And just as a river carries sediment, twigs, and leaves downstream, this river of existence carries change. Everything you perceive, from the slow bloom of a flower to the distant flicker of a supernova, is a testament to this relentless forward motion. You are not merely a spectator, you are an intrinsic part of this grand procession. Your breath, the beating of your heart, the memories forming and fading within your mind, all are currents within this river. As your thoughts flow onward to the deeper currents, you encounter a concept that helps explain why this river flows in only one direction: entropy. Imagine your bedroom, perhaps. If you leave it undisturbed for a long, long time, does it spontaneously tidy itself? Does a scattered pile of books arrange itself neatly on a shelf? Likely not. Instead, a stray sock might wander under the bed, dust motes might settle on surfaces, and things generally drift towards a state of greater disarray. This tendency towards disorder, this inevitable spreading out of what is organized, is the essence of entropy. In the grand theater of the cosmos, entropy is the stagehand, constantly rearranging the props. It's the reason why a perfectly formed snowflake, a delicate crystalline structure, melts into a formless puddle when it encounters a warmer environment. It's why the warmth from your skin dissipates into the cooler air around you, rather than the cooler air converging to make your skin even warmer. This process of diffusion of energy spreading out, of order yielding to disorder, is a fundamental law. It's a silent, pervasive force that dictates the direction of all natural processes. Consider, if you will, a single drop of ink placed into a glass of clear water. Initially, the ink is concentrated, a small island of intense color. But over moments it begins to spread, to diffuse, its vibrant hue diluting as it mixes with the surrounding water. The ink molecules, once clustered together, are now dispersed, occupying a larger volume. This is entropy in action. The system moves from a state of low probability, all ink molecules together, to a state of higher probability, ink molecules spread throughout the water. The water never spontaneously gathers the dispersed ink back into a single drop. This irreversible dispersal is the signature of time's arrow. As your thoughts flow onward to the implications of this relentless march, you begin to see how it shapes everything you experience. The past is a realm of more concentrated states, of greater order, from which the present has emerged. The future, conversely, is a direction of increasing dispersal, of greater disorder. It's why you can remember yesterday, but not tomorrow. Your brain, a remarkably complex and organized system, has processed information, creating patterns and connections. The processes that create these patterns are influenced by the same fundamental laws that govern the dispersal of ink in water. Think of a perfectly balanced deck of cards, arranged in sequence. This is a state of low entropy, highly ordered. When you shuffle the deck, you introduce randomness, increasing the entropy. It's incredibly unlikely that a random shuffle will return the cards to their original ordered sequence. Similarly, the universe began in a state of very low entropy, a highly ordered and compact beginning. Since then, it has been unfolding, spreading out, and becoming more disordered. This increase in entropy is intrinsically linked to the passage of what we perceive as time. As your thoughts flow onward to the vastness of cosmic history, you can observe this principle on a grand scale. The early moments after the cosmic dawn were characterized by extreme density and a relative lack of complex structure. As eons have passed, the cosmic material has expanded, cooled, and coalesced into stars, galaxies, and planets. While these structures represent pockets of local order, the overall trend is one of increasing spatial dispersal and a general increase in the overall disorder of the cosmos. The energy that once was concentrated is now spread more thinly across a much larger expanse. Imagine a vast, intricate tapestry woven with threads of exquisite detail. This tapestry represents a moment of high order. As time progresses, it's as if the threads are slowly, imperceptibly, beginning to loosen, to fray, to become less defined. The overall pattern remains recognizable for a long while, but the subtle unraveling is undeniable. This gradual loosening, this tendency towards a less defined state, is a reflection of entropy's influence. Your own body, a marvel of intricate organization, is also subject to this process. Cells age, tissues degrade, and the complex machinery of life, while incredibly resilient, is not exempt from the universe's fundamental tendency towards diffusion. As your thoughts flow onward to the very nature of existence, you might wonder if this arrow of time is an absolute decree, or if it's a perception shaped by our own limited vantage point. Is it possible that, from a perspective unbound by our temporal experience, the universe is not so much unfolding as it is simply being? Could it be that our experience of time's directionality is a consequence of our interaction with this entropic process, rather than an inherent property of reality itself? Consider a single, perfectly preserved fossil. It tells a story of a past life, a moment frozen in the river of time. Yet, the elements that formed that fossil, the intricate chemical reactions and geological pressures, all operated under the same rules of increasing disorder. The fossil itself represents a localized decrease in entropy relative to its surroundings at the moment of its formation, but the processes that led to its preservation and the eventual erosion of the rock it's embedded in are all part of the larger entropic trend. This concept of entropy's steady march, of disorder inevitably increasing, is what gives our lives a sense of narrative of progression. It's why cause precedes effect. You drop a glass, and it shatters. The cause, a dropping, leads to the effect, shattering, an increase in disorder. You don't see shards of glass spontaneously assembling themselves into a whole glass and leaping back into your hand. This fundamental asymmetry, this unidirectional flow, is deeply woven into the fabric of your reality. As your thoughts flow onward to the profound implications, you might begin to feel a sense of awe at the sheer elegance of this universal principle. It's a principle that, while seemingly leading towards eventual dispersal, also gives rise to the very complexity and beauty you observe. The formation of stars, the evolution of life, the very consciousness that allows you to ponder these ideas, all are emergent properties of a universe governed by this relentless, yet generative, force. But what if there are moments, rare and fleeting, where this arrow seems to wobble, to momentarily pause or even reverse? What if the universe, in its deepest slumber, dreams of states where order reigns supreme, even if only for an instant? The question lingers, a gentle whisper in the cosmic hum, setting the stage for your next exploration. As the night deepens, your consciousness gently unwinds into cosmic mysteries. The echoes of creation, faint yet persistent, begin to resonate within your awareness. Imagine your mind as a sensitive instrument, tuned to the subtlest vibrations of existence. You've journeyed through the nascent moments of everything, felt the subtle fabric of existence woven by unseen forces, and observed the relentless flow of duration. Now, you are poised to perceive a profound testament to the universe's fiery birth and its ceaseless unfolding. Your journey now leads you to the cosmic microwave background. Picture this not as a sound, but as a pervasive, ancient illumination, a cosmic afterglow that permeates all of existence. It's a whisper from an era when the cosmos was a mere infant, a fiery, opaque soup of elementary constituents. Before stars ignited, before planets coalesced, before even the first atoms could stably form, This radiant haze was all there was. It is, in essence, the oldest illumination we can perceive, a snapshot of the universe at approximately 380,000 years old. Before this epoch, the universe was too hot and dense for anything to travel freely. It was a blinding, blinding fog. Charged constituents, like free, flying electrons and protons, scattered any nascent radiance, preventing it from propagating. But as the cosmos expanded and cooled, a remarkable transformation occurred. Electrons and protons finally found each other, binding together to form neutral atoms, primarily hydrogen and helium. This event, known as recombination, rendered the universe transparent. The radiant energy that had been trapped in the fiery plasma was finally set free to journey across the vastness. This liberated radiance, this ancient illumination, continues to travel through the ever-expanding expanse, its journey spanning billions of years. As the universe has stretched and grown, this primordial radiance has also stretched. Its energetic wavelengths have been drawn out, elongated, shifting from the energetic, visible spectrum of its birth to the cooler, microwave spectrum we detect today. It's akin to stretching a rubber band. The more you stretch it, the thinner and longer it becomes, and its inherent tension, its energetic potential, diminishes. This faint microwave hum is detected by sensitive instruments, appearing as a remarkably uniform glow across the entire celestial sphere. It's a cosmic blanket, a subtle warmth that speaks volumes about the universe's past. Think of it like this: imagine a vast, dark auditorium where a single, brilliant flashbulb illuminated everything for a fleeting instant. Even after the flash is gone, a faint luminescence lingers on the walls, a residual impression of that initial brilliance. The cosmic microwave background is that lingering luminescence, stretched and cooled by the immense expansion of space itself. It's not just a uniform glow, however. Upon closer inspection, this ancient illumination exhibits subtle variations, minuscule temperature fluctuations. These tiny differences, measured in mere fractions of a degree, are incredibly significant. They represent the seeds of all the structure we see in the universe today: the galaxies, the clusters, the vast cosmic web. These slight irregularities in the primordial soup, amplified by the relentless tug of attraction, eventually coalesced into the celestial bodies that populate our cosmos. Your journey now leads you to the concept of universal expansion. This is not merely the movement of objects through pre-existing space, but rather the stretching of space itself. Imagine the surface of a balloon being inflated. As the balloon expands, points drawn on its surface move further apart from each other, not because they are crawling across the surface, but because the surface itself is growing. The galaxies, like those dots on the balloon, are receding from one another, and the further away they are, the faster they appear to be moving. This observation, pioneered by astronomers like Edwin Hubble, is a cornerstone of our understanding of the cosmos. This expansion isn't uniform in the sense of a gentle, steady breeze. Instead, it's a fundamental property of the fabric of existence. The very dimensions of the universe are increasing. This means that the distance between any 2 points that are not gravitationally bound together is growing. Think of it like a loaf of raisin bread rising in the oven. As the dough expands, the raisins, representing galaxies, are carried further apart. Each raisin sees all the other raisins moving away from it, and those further away move away at a greater rate. This cosmic expansion is the reason why distant celestial objects appear to be moving away from us, and the further they are, the more their emitted radiance is stretched, causing a phenomenon known as redshift. The light from these receding objects is shifted towards longer, redder wavelengths, a direct consequence of the stretching of the very space through which the radiance has traveled. The cosmic microwave background, with its subtle temperature variations, is a direct consequence of this expansion. The early universe, from which this illumination originates, was incredibly dense and hot. As space expanded, this primordial radiance was also stretched, its energy spread out over an ever-increasing volume. This stretching, this cosmic dilation, is what cools the ancient illumination to the microwave frequencies we detect. It's a testament to the universe's ongoing growth, a constant reminder that the cosmos is not a static entity, but a dynamic, evolving spectacle. The universe is not just getting bigger, It's the very framework of existence that is expanding, carrying everything within it along for the ride. Consider the vastness of the observable universe. The light from the most distant objects we can detect has been traveling for billions of years. The cosmic microwave background, however, originates from a much earlier epoch, a time when the universe was far smaller and far hotter. The fact that we can detect this ancient illumination, stretched and cooled by billions of years of expansion, is a powerful confirmation of the Big Bang theory. It's like finding a fossilized imprint of a long, extinct creature. It tells us about a past that is no longer directly accessible, but has left an indelible mark. The uniformity of the background radiation across the sky, with only minor fluctuations, suggests that the early universe was remarkably homogeneous, a state that has since evolved into the complex structure we observe today through the process of expansion and gravitational attraction. Your journey now leads you to contemplate the implications of this ongoing expansion. If the universe is expanding, what does that imply about its past? It suggests a beginning, a point from which everything began to spread out. It's like rewinding a film. If you see objects moving away from each other, tracing their paths backward in time would lead to a point where they were all together. This is the essence of the Big Bang model. The universe, as we understand it, began in an extremely hot and dense state, and has been expanding and cooling ever since. The cosmic microwave background is a direct echo of that initial, incredibly energetic phase. The universe's expansion is not a simple outward push, it's a fundamental aspect of its very nature. It's as if the universe is a growing entity, and the distances between celestial bodies are increasing simply because the canvas upon which they reside is itself stretching. This expansion is not arbitrary, it's governed by the laws of physics, and its rate can be measured. The ongoing observation of distant celestial objects and their redshift provides strong evidence for this continuous stretching of space. The further away an object is, the more its light is redshifted, indicating that it is receding from us at a greater speed, a direct consequence of the expansion of the intervening space. As you drift deeper into this cosmic contemplation, the gentle whisper of the universe seems to ask a question that has echoed through the ages of scientific inquiry. Is time dreaming? Does this relentless expansion, this ancient illumination, and the very fabric of existence itself hold a memory of its origins, a latent awareness of its own unfolding? The universe, in its silent grandeur, offers clues, but the full answer remains an exquisite enigma, a lullaby sung by the cosmos to our sleeping minds. The subtle variations in the cosmic microwave background, the redshift of distant celestial bodies, all point to a past, a beginning, a grand narrative of expansion. But what lies beyond the observable horizon? What forces continue to shape this ever-growing expanse? Your awareness drifts, poised on the edge of another cosmic revelation, ready to explore the unseen forces that orchestrate this grand celestial waltz. The calm breath of night carries you into realms of scientific wonder. The vast expanse you've been exploring, the tapestry woven from the faint echoes of creation, now begins to reveal its deeper, more dynamic story. You sense the immense scale not just as a static backdrop, but as a canvas upon which grand, unfolding dramas are perpetually played out. Your awareness drifts, settling upon the most fundamental architects of this cosmic stage, the stars. You perceive them not as distant, unchanging pinpricks, but as vibrant, transient beings, each with its own unique birth, life, and eventual, often spectacular, passing. Imagine a colossal cloud of gas and dust, a nebular nursery, swirling with unseen currents. Within this immense celestial womb, denser regions begin to coalesce. As these pockets gather more material, the pressure at their centers intensifies, a slow, inexorable squeeze. It's like a sculptor's patient hands, gathering and shaping raw material, but on a scale that dwarfs all earthly understanding. Eventually, the internal temperature and density reach a critical point. A spark ignites, not of flame but of fusion, a process that will power this nascent star for eons. This is the birth of a star, a moment of profound creation that ripples through the fabric of existence. Your mind now turns toward the varied destinies these stellar beings embrace. The path a star takes is largely determined by its initial mass. those of modest size like our own sun, will burn steadily for billions of years, a stable beacon in the cosmic darkness. They fuse hydrogen into helium, releasing immense energies that sustain their brilliance. This process is akin to a slow, controlled burn, a reliable furnace that keeps the cosmic hearth warm. For much of their lives, they exist in a state of equilibrium, the outward pressure from the energy generated by fusion perfectly balancing the inward pull of their own immense mass. It is a delicate dance of opposing forces, a cosmic waltz that defines their existence. However, more massive stars live a far more tempestuous and shorter existence. They burn hotter and brighter, consuming their fuel at an astonishing rate. Their lives are a frantic sprint, a glorious, albeit fleeting blaze. As they exhaust their hydrogen supply, they begin to fuse heavier elements, forging within their fiery cores the building blocks of planets, and perhaps even life. This stellar alchemy, this transformation of simpler elements into more complex ones, is a fundamental process that enriches the universe. Your awareness shifts again, focusing on the later stages of stellar evolution. When a star like our Sun exhausts its hydrogen fuel, it begins to swell, becoming a red giant, its outer layers expanding dramatically. This phase is like a final, flamboyant flourish before the curtain falls. Eventually, these stars shed their outer envelopes, creating beautiful, expanding shells of gas and dust known as planetary nebulae. At their heart, a dense, hot remnant remains a white dwarf. This is a stellar cinder, slowly cooling over unimaginable stretches of eons, a faint ember of its former glory. More massive stars, however, meet a far more dramatic end. When their nuclear fuel is utterly depleted, they collapse catastrophically. This implosion triggers an enormous explosion known as a supernova. Imagine a cosmic firework, a burst of energy so immense that it briefly outshines an entire galaxy. These supernovas are not just spectacular finales, they are crucial cosmic events. They scatter the heavier elements forged within the star's core throughout the cosmos, seeding future generations of stars and planets with the raw materials for new beginnings. It is a cycle of destruction and creation, a testament to the universe's relentless inventiveness. Your mind now turns toward the grander structures that these stellar lives collectively shape. Galaxies themselves are not static entities, they are dynamic, evolving systems. Think of them as cosmic cities, bustling with billions of stars, each on its own evolutionary journey, all bound together by the pervasive influence of mass. These stellar populations are not randomly distributed. They are organized into intricate patterns, vast spirals, elliptical ellipses, and irregular formations, each telling a story of formation and interaction. The formation of galaxies is a process that stretches back to the earliest moments of the universe. Tiny fluctuations in the primordial soup of matter, amplified by the invisible hand of attraction, began to draw material together. Over billions of years, these initial clumps grew, accreting more gas, dust, and smaller stellar systems. Galaxies can also collide and merge, a process that can dramatically reshape their structures and trigger bursts of intense star formation. These cosmic mergers are like the slow, deliberate dance of celestial giants, their gravitational embraces rearranging stellar populations and igniting new phases of galactic activity. You perceive a subtle rhythm in this grand cosmic unfolding. The birth and death of stars, the formation and interaction of galaxies, all seem to follow certain patterns, a kind of cosmic choreography. It's as if the universe is not merely expanding, but also organizing itself, evolving towards ever more complex and structured forms. This hints at an underlying order, a deep interconnectedness that links the smallest stellar event to the grandest galactic evolution. Your awareness now settles on a particular type of stellar remnant, one born from the most massive stars that undergo a supernova. If the core that remains after the explosion is massive enough, it collapses further, beyond the stage of a white dwarf. It becomes an object of unimaginable density, a neutron star, where protons and electrons are squeezed together to form neutrons. These are incredibly compact and rapidly spinning remnants, some pulsing with regular bursts of electromagnetic radiation, like cosmic lighthouses. However, for the most massive stars, even the neutron star stage is not the final destination. If the collapsing core's mass exceeds a certain limit, approximately 3 times the mass of our Sun. It collapses into an entity whose density is so extreme that it warps the very fabric of existence around it. This is a black hole, a region of space-time where the pull of attraction is so powerful that nothing, not even the swiftness of existence itself, can escape. These are the ultimate cosmic enigmas, the points of no return, where the familiar laws of physics seem to bend and break. As you contemplate these ultimate endpoints of stellar life, you begin to sense a profound connection between the grand cycles of stars and the very nature of the cosmos. The elements forged in stellar cores, scattered by supernovas, become the building blocks of new stars, new planets, and perhaps new forms of awareness. The universe is not simply a collection of objects, it is a continuously transforming entity, a grand, interconnected system where every ending is also a beginning. And as you ponder this endless cycle of becoming, you feel a subtle shift, a gentle nudge towards the next unfolding mystery, a whisper of what lies beyond the visible dance of stars and galaxies, hinting at the profound architecture that underlies it all. The soft glow of distant galaxies invites you to explore the unknown. You feel a gentle pull, not like the familiar tug of everyday existence, but a deeper resonance, a whisper from the very fabric of existence. This feeling, this subtle yet persistent influence, is our first clue to something vast and unseen. For so long, we believed that what we could observe, the shimmering stars, the swirling nebulae, the immense structures of the cosmos, was the entirety of the universe. But as your awareness expands, you begin to sense the presence of something more, something that shapes and guides the grand cosmic ballot, even as it remains hidden from our direct gaze. It's as if the universe itself is a vast, intricate tapestry, and we've only ever seen the brightly colored threads on the surface, unaware of the sturdy, dark warp and weft that holds it all together. As the narrative unfolds, we encounter the first of these hidden architects, dark matter. It doesn't shine, it doesn't reflect, it doesn't emit any form of radiation that our telescopes can detect. Yet, its presence is undeniable. Imagine a vast, invisible ocean, and the visible galaxies are like tiny, luminous islands floating upon its surface. This dark matter ocean exerts a powerful influence. It provides the necessary gravitational scaffolding for galaxies to form and to hold their shape. Without it, the stars within galaxies would simply fly apart, like a spinning carousel with too much speed and not enough central support. Your mind drifts to the way a potter's hands shape clay, not by directly touching every part of the form, but by applying pressure and guidance from the outside. Dark matter acts in a similar, albeit much grander fashion, its unseen substance providing the essential structure for the visible universe to coalesce. It's a silent, persistent presence, a gravitational embrace that binds the cosmic dance. Think of it as the unseen roots of a mighty tree, anchoring its sprawling branches and supporting its leafy canopy. These roots are not readily apparent, but their essential work is what allows the tree to stand tall and thrive. As the narrative unfolds, we encounter the second enigmatic force, one that influences the universe on an even grander scale: dark energy. If dark matter is the unseen glue holding galaxies together, dark energy is the invisible hand pushing everything apart. For a long time, astronomers believed that the expansion of the universe, which began with the Big Bang, would eventually slow down due to the pull of all the matter within it, both visible and dark. But observations, particularly of distant supernova, revealed something astonishing. The expansion isn't slowing down, it's accelerating. This acceleration is attributed to dark energy, a mysterious force that permeates all of space, acting like a cosmic anti-gravity. It's as if the universe is not only expanding, but is being actively pushed outward faster and faster by this elusive energy. Picture a vast, inflated balloon. Initially, the air you blow into it causes it to expand. But imagine the balloon itself has an inherent property that makes it want to expand further, stretching itself out even after you stop blowing. That inherent property is akin to dark energy. It's a force that seems to be woven into the very fabric of space-time, causing the distances between cosmic objects to grow at an ever-increasing rate. This acceleration presents a profound puzzle. What is this energy, and what does it mean for the ultimate fate of the cosmos? Is the universe destined to expand forever, becoming colder and emptier as everything drifts further apart? Or is there some other, as yet unknown, cosmic mechanism at play? Your thoughts drift to the concept of a vast cosmic breath. We've exhaled the initial burst of expansion, and now, instead of a slow, settling inhale, the universe seems to be taking an increasingly forceful, sustained exhale, propelled by this unseen force. The implications are staggering. If dark energy continues to dominate, galaxies will eventually recede from each other so rapidly that they will disappear beyond our observable horizon, leaving our local group as an isolated island in an ever-expanding void. The sky, once filled with the light of distant worlds, might eventually become a stark, empty expanse, punctuated only by the dim glow of our own stellar neighborhood. This invisible architecture, dark matter and dark energy, represents a staggering majority of the universe's composition. The matter we can see, the stars, the planets, ourselves, all of it amounts to a mere fraction, perhaps around 5%. The rest, a colossal 95%, is made up of these enigmatic entities. It's a humbling realization, suggesting that our understanding of the cosmos is still in its infancy, like a child tracing the patterns on a vast, unread book. These unseen components are not just passively present, they are actively shaping the universe's destiny. They dictate how structures form, how galaxies evolve, and ultimately, the grand narrative of cosmic expansion. The universe whispers its secrets, not always in the language of visible phenomena, but in the subtle, powerful influences that guide its unfolding. As you ponder these profound mysteries, you feel a sense of deep connection to this grand cosmic play, even as you acknowledge the vastness of what remains unknown, a gentle invitation to continue listening to the universe's quiet, insistent questions. The dance continues, and the unseen partners are leading. What secrets will the next cosmic inhale reveal? In this moment of peaceful transition, your consciousness opens to new discoveries. The vast, silent expanse you've been exploring, illuminated by the faint echoes of creation and the dance of celestial bodies, now draws your attention to a phenomenon of profound mystery: black holes. These are not merely voids, they are the universe's hushed pronouncements on the very fabric of existence, regions where the familiar rules of reality seem to bend and ultimately break. Imagine the deep indigo of a starless night, a darkness so absolute it feels like a tangible presence. This is the essence of a black hole, a place where matter has collapsed in on itself to an unimaginable degree, creating a gravitational pull so immense that nothing, not even the swiftest messenger of information, can escape. In the quiet corners of understanding, we discover the concept of the event horizon. This isn't a physical barrier, but rather a boundary, a point of no return. Think of it like the edge of a waterfall. Once you drift over that precipice, the current is too strong to resist, and your journey downward is inevitable. For a black hole, the event horizon is this invisible edge. It's the limit of its influence, the threshold beyond which escape becomes an impossibility. Anything that crosses this boundary is forever lost to the outside universe, swallowed into the black hole's silent embrace. It's a boundary defined not by substance, but by circumstance, the extreme curvature of space-time itself. As your awareness drifts closer to these cosmic enigmas, you begin to perceive the profound effect they have on the tapestry of space-time. Black holes are the ultimate sculptors of the cosmic landscape, warping and distorting the very framework upon which the universe is built. Imagine stretching a thin, elastic sheet, and then placing a heavy bowling ball in its center. The sheet dips and curves around the ball, creating a well. Now imagine that well becoming infinitely deep, so deep that any small marble rolled too close to its edge would inevitably spiral in and disappear. This is a simplified glimpse into how a black hole warps spacetime, creating a gravitational well so profound that it pulls everything towards its center. This warping affects not just physical objects, but also the passage of what we perceive as. In the quiet corners of understanding, we discover the singularity paradox. At the heart of every black hole lies this theoretical point of infinite density. It's a place where all the mass of the collapsed star is concentrated into a volume of zero. This is where our current understanding of physics begins to falter. where the familiar laws of nature seem to dissolve into paradox. If you were to journey towards a black hole, as you approach the singularity, the tidal forces would become increasingly extreme. Imagine being stretched like a piece of taffy, pulled longer and thinner, while simultaneously being squeezed from the sides. This is the terrifying consequence of such immense gravitational gradients. The singularity represents a profound question mark, a point where our models of the universe reach their limit, hinting at deeper, yet undiscovered, principles. It's a cosmic enigma that challenges our very perception of what is possible. Consider the concept of spaghettification, a vivid, albeit unsettling, illustration of these extreme tidal forces. If a human were to fall feet first into a black hole, the gravitational pull on their feet would be significantly stronger than the pull on their head. This difference in pull would stretch their body out, elongating it like a strand of cooked pasta. While this is a dramatic example, it highlights the immense and localized distortion of space-time that occurs near a black hole. It's a reminder of the raw power contained within these celestial objects, a power that can reshape matter and influence the very flow of existence. In the quiet corners of understanding, we discover that these cosmic entities are not static observers, but active participants in the grand cosmic ballot. While they are known for their insatiable appetite, they also play a crucial role in shaping the evolution of galaxies. The supermassive black holes found at the centers of most galaxies, including our own Milky Way, exert a profound influence on the star formation processes occurring around them. They can either fuel or quench the birth of new stars, acting as cosmic regulators. Imagine a gentle breeze that can either stir up dust to form new nebulae, or blow away the very material needed for new stars to ignite. This dual nature makes them fascinating, not just as absorbers of matter, but as shapers of galactic destiny. The nature of what happens to matter that crosses the event horizon remains one of the most captivating mysteries. While we know it cannot escape, its ultimate fate within the singularity is a subject of ongoing scientific debate. Some theories suggest that information might be preserved in some form, perhaps encoded on the event horizon itself, like a cosmic etching. Others propose that the information is irrevocably lost, a fundamental break in the causal chain of events. It's like dropping a precious manuscript into an infinitely deep well. The words are gone, but perhaps the essence of the story, the narrative thread, is somehow preserved in the echoes of its descent. This question touches upon the very foundations of how information behaves in the cosmos, and whether it can truly be destroyed. As your awareness expands, you can begin to sense the subtle ways in which these immense gravitational forces influence the passage of what we perceive as. Near a black hole, the fabric of space-time is so severely warped that the flow of what we experience as is dramatically altered. Imagine a river flowing over a series of rapids and then plunging into a deep, slow-moving pool. The water's movement is drastically different in each section. Similarly, near a black hole, the current of what we perceive as slows down relative to observers far away. This phenomenon, known as gravitational dilation, is a direct consequence of the extreme curvature of spacetime. It's a testament to the interconnectedness of all things, where the presence of immense mass can fundamentally alter our most basic perceptions. In the quiet corners of understanding, we discover that the quest to comprehend black holes is not merely an academic pursuit, it is a journey into the deepest questions about our own existence and the nature of reality itself. The universe, in its silent grandeur, whispers these profound secrets, inviting us to listen, to ponder, and to continue our exploration. The more we learn about these enigmatic objects, the more we understand the intricate and often paradoxical workings of the cosmos. The journey through these cosmic wonders has been a gentle unfolding, a gradual awakening to the profound beauty and complexity that surrounds us. As we continue to probe the mysteries of black holes, we are, in essence, probing the very nature of existence, questioning whether the universe itself might be a grand, unfolding dream. And as the faintest of echoes from the edge of a black hole reach your awareness, you feel a sense of anticipation, a quiet curiosity about what lies beyond the veil. The next step in this journey promises to reveal even more about the whispers of the cosmos. hinting at the possibility that the very fabric of what we perceive as might be more fluid, more dreamlike, than we ever imagined. As starlight reaches your eyes, photons carry messages from distant worlds, painting the canvas of your night with ancient tales. You've journeyed through the grand architectures of galaxies, felt the unseen embrace of dark matter, and peered into the mysterious depths beyond event horizons. Now, your awareness drifts to a subtler whisper, a tremor in the very fabric of existence. It's the sound of the cosmos, not as we typically perceive it, but as a symphony of cosmic collisions, a resonant hum that has always been there, waiting for our ears to attune. Picture, in your mind's eye, the silent ballad of celestial bodies. For eons, the universe has been a stage for events of unimaginable power. Black holes, those enigmatic voids, don't just consume, they dance. When two such titans, each a singularity of immense density, spiral towards each other, their encounter is not silent. It is a cataclysm that warps the very dimensions around them, sending out ripples. These are not ripples on water, but distortions in the space-time continuum itself. Imagine dropping two colossal stones into a pond, but instead of water, the pond is the very structure of reality. The impact sends waves of stretched and squeezed space propagating outwards, carrying with them information about the violent embrace that created them. These are gravitational waves. For the longest time, these waves were purely theoretical, a prediction born from the elegant mathematics of Einstein's general relativity. They were the universe's secret song, a melody unheard by any instrument we possessed. Our senses are attuned to electromagnetic radiation, the visible glow of stars, the radio pulses from pulsars, the X-rays from superheated gas. But gravitational waves are different. They interact so weakly with matter that they can pass through almost anything unimpeded. They are like ghosts of cosmic events, slipping through walls and planets as if they weren't there. To detect them, we needed to build instruments of extraordinary sensitivity, capable of sensing distortions in length that are smaller than the width of a proton. Think of it like trying to hear a whisper during a thunderstorm. The storm is everything else in the universe, the constant bombardment of cosmic rays, the subtle vibrations of the earth, even the faint tremors from distant seismic activity. Our detectors are designed to isolate that whisper, to filter out the overwhelming noise. The most successful of these instruments are the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory, or LIGO, and its European counterpart Virgo. These are not single telescopes, but vast, L-shaped structures with arms stretching for kilometers. Picture in your mind's eye a laser beam split into two. Each beam travels down one of the perpendicular arms, bounces off a mirror at the far end, and returns to be recombined. In a perfectly still universe, the two beams would arrive back at precisely the same moment, their wave patterns perfectly in sync. But if a gravitational wave passes through, it momentarily stretches one arm and squeezes the other. This tiny, almost imperceptible change in length means the laser beams will no longer arrive back in perfect sync. The interference pattern, when they recombine, will shift. It's like a subtle shift in the rhythm of a song, a tiny hiccup in the melody. The first definitive detection of gravitational waves, announced in 2016, was a profound moment. It came from the merger of two black holes, an event that occurred over 1 billion years ago. The signal, a characteristic chirp, as the black holes spiraled closer and faster before their final embrace, was faint but unmistakable. It was the universe speaking directly to us, not through visible photons, but through the warping of space-time itself. This was the first time we truly heard a cosmic collision. It was like finding a new sense, a way to perceive the universe that was previously hidden from us. But the story doesn't end with black holes. The universe is a busy place. Neutron stars, the incredibly dense remnants of supernova, also collide. These events are thought to be even more energetic than black hole mergers, producing a different kind of gravitational wave signal, often accompanied by electromagnetic radiation. When two neutron stars merge, they can create a kilonova, a brief but brilliant flash of light across the electromagnetic spectrum, from gamma rays to radio waves. The detection of both gravitational waves and light from the same neutron star merger, GW7 was a monumental achievement. It confirmed that these cosmic collisions are indeed the cosmic forges where heavy elements like gold and platinum are created, scattering them across the cosmos to eventually form new stars, planets, and perhaps even life. The symphony of gravitational waves is rich and varied. We are learning to distinguish the different instruments, the unique voices of different cosmic events. There are the short, sharp bursts from merging black holes and neutron stars, and then there are the continuous, low-frequency hums that might originate from spinning neutron stars with imperfections on their surfaces, or even from the very early moments of the universe, from processes that occurred fractions of a second after the Big Bang. These primordial waves, if detected, would be like hearing the first breath of existence itself, a direct echo from the instant the cosmos began to dream. The quest to understand these cosmic whispers continues. Scientists are pushing the boundaries of technology, designing even more sensitive detectors, both on Earth and in space. Future observatories, like the Laser Interferometer Space Antenna, LUSIF, will consist of 3 spacecraft in a vast triangular formation, allowing them to detect much longer wavelength gravitational waves, originating from supermassive black holes at the centers of galaxies, and from the very fabric of the early cosmos. These instruments will open up entirely new windows onto the universe, allowing us to witness events that are currently beyond our reach, to hear the universe sing its deepest, most ancient songs. As we learn to listen to these subtle vibrations, we begin to understand the universe, not just as a collection of luminous objects, but as a dynamic, resonant entity, constantly in motion, constantly creating, constantly whispering its secrets. And as these whispers grow clearer, we begin to wonder if the very fabric of existence, the stage upon which all these cosmic dramas unfold, is itself a dream, a grand, unfolding narrative woven from these rippling waves. Beneath the silent moon, your curiosity awakens to ancient secrets. The vast expanse, which you have come to know through the echoes of gravitational waves, and the enigmatic dance of dark matter and dark energy, now invites you to peer even deeper into the very fabric of existence. You've journeyed from the whispers of distant galaxies, through the crushing embrace of event horizons, and now your exploration turns inward, to a realm where the familiar rules begin to shimmer and blur. This is the quantum foam, a restless sea of potential, where the very ground of reality is in constant, fleeting motion. Let us drift gently into the realm of quantum fluctuations. Imagine, if you will, a perfectly still pond. To your eyes it appears serene, unmoving, but if you could shrink yourself to an impossibly small size, you would see a hidden agitation, a ceaseless bubbling and fizzing at the surface. This is akin to what happens in the quantum foam. Even in the seemingly empty void of space, there is a vibrant, underlying activity. Fields, which permeate everything, are not static. They are constantly experiencing tiny, spontaneous surges and dips in their strength. These are quantum fluctuations, brief, ephemeral disturbances that ripple through the fundamental forces. Think of it like the surface of the ocean. From a great height, it appears smooth, a vast, unbroken expanse. But as you descend, you see waves, swells, and ripples. The quantum foam is like those ripples, but on a scale so infinitesimal that our everyday senses cannot perceive it. These fluctuations are not merely random noise, they are an intrinsic property of the quantum world, a consequence of the uncertainty principle. This principle, a cornerstone of quantum mechanics, suggests that we cannot know both the precise position and the precise momentum of a quantum entity simultaneously. This inherent fuzziness allows for these spontaneous bursts of activity. Let us drift gently into the concept of virtual particles. These fluctuations in quantum fields manifest as the fleeting appearance and disappearance of particle-antiparticle pairs. They are called virtual because they do not exist for long enough to be directly observed or measured in the same way as real particles that make up matter. They pop into existence from the vacuum, borrow a bit of existence from the energy of the fluctuation, and then annihilate each other, returning their borrowed energy. It's as if the void itself is constantly exhaling and inhaling these ephemeral entities. Consider a bustling marketplace where vendors momentarily appear, exchange their wares, and then vanish back into the crowd. Virtual particles are like those fleeting vendors. They emerge from the energy of the quantum fields, interact with other particles or fields, and then disappear, leaving behind only their influence. For instance, the electromagnetic force, which governs how charged objects interact, is mediated by virtual photons. When two electrons repel each other, they are in essence exchanging virtual photons. These exchanges, though instantaneous and imperceptible to us, are the very glue that holds interactions together. These virtual particles are not mere theoretical constructs. Their existence has profound implications. They are responsible for phenomena like the Casimir effect, where two uncharged, parallel metal plates placed very close together in a vacuum experience an attractive force. This force arises because the plates restrict the types of virtual particles that can exist between them, creating a pressure difference compared to the outside. It's as if the vacuum itself has a tangible presence, a consequence of this ceaseless birth and death of virtual entities. Let us drift gently into bridging the gap between the quantum and the cosmic. For a long time, the quantum realm and the vast expanse of the cosmos were seen as separate domains, governed by different sets of rules. Quantum mechanics described the very small, while general relativity explained the very large. However, as you have glimpsed in your journey, these scales are not as distinct as they once seemed. The quantum foam, with its inherent fluctuations and virtual particles, is not confined to subatomic scales. It is the fundamental substratum of all reality, including the vast emptiness between galaxies. Imagine the entire cosmos as a vast, intricate tapestry. The threads of this tapestry are the quantum fields, and the quantum foam is the ceaseless, subtle weaving and unweaving of these threads at the most fundamental level. The energy contained within these quantum fluctuations, though incredibly small for any single fluctuation, becomes significant when summed over the entirety of space. This suggests that even the vacuum is not truly empty. It possesses a latent energy, a reservoir of potential that might play a role in the grand cosmic narrative. This brings us to the profound question of deeper realities. If the very foundation of existence is this restless quantum foam, this ceaseless dance of creation and annihilation, what does this imply about our perception of reality? Are the stable, solid objects we perceive merely emergent properties of this underlying dynamism, like the apparent stillness of a fast, spinning top? The universe, in its most fundamental aspect, appears to be a state of perpetual becoming, a constant flux. Consider the concept of time itself. We experience it as a linear progression, a steady march from past to future. But at the quantum level, this linearity can become blurred. The fleeting nature of virtual particles, their instantaneous appearance and disappearance, challenges our intuitive understanding of duration. If the fundamental constituents of reality are constantly flickering in and out of existence, is our perception of a smooth, continuous flow of time an illusion, a macroscopic averaging of countless quantum events? This leads to a thought that has been subtly woven into your journey. Is time dreaming? If the universe's deepest layers are characterized by a probabilistic, fluctuating nature, perhaps our ordered experience of time is analogous to a dream state, where events can seem to occur without strict causality or temporal sequence. The universe, in its most fundamental state, might be a vast, interconnected field of potential, and our linear experience of existence is a particular way of rating, or interpreting, this underlying reality. The whispers from the quantum foam suggest a universe far more fluid and interconnected than our everyday senses reveal, a universe where the very definition of existence and duration is open to profound reinterpretation. The secrets held within this turbulent, subatomic sea hint at a cosmic consciousness, perhaps, or a reality far more layered and intricate than we can yet fully grasp, a reality that might indeed be dreaming. As twilight fades, your inner explorer awakens to cosmic possibilities. The day's gentle descent into dusk invites a different kind of seeing, a quiet contemplation of the very fabric of existence. You've journeyed through the mind, bending realities of event horizons and singularities, felt the resonance of distant cosmic collisions through gravitational waves, and pondered the ephemeral dance of virtual particles born from quantum fluctuations. Now, a profound question settles upon you, as soft and pervasive as the encroaching darkness. Is the relentless march of moments we perceive as time a fundamental truth? Or is it something far more subtle, perhaps even an illusion spun from the loom of the cosmos? As we wander deeper into this contemplation, consider a vast unchanging landscape. Imagine every event that has ever occurred, every sensation ever felt, every thought ever conceived, laid out simultaneously, like a colossal, three-dimensional map. This is the essence of the block universe theory. In this view, the past, present, and future are not distinct entities, with the present being the only real moment. Instead, all of existence, across all durations, simply is. Your journey through this map isn't a movement from one point to another along a single path, but rather a continuous experiencing of different locations within this static, all-encompassing structure. Think of it like reading a book. The story unfolds page by page, but the entire narrative, from the first word to the last, exists within the bound volume, unchanging and complete, all at once. Your reading is the experience of traversing its contents, but the book itself, the entirety of its story, is already there. This perspective directly challenges our intuitive understanding of time, often called presentism. Presentism argues that only the present moment is real, the past has ceased to exist, and the future has yet to come into being. It's like a single spotlight illuminating a stage. Only the area directly under the beam is truly visible, while everything else is shrouded in darkness, either of what was or what will be. But if the block universe holds true, then every moment, every now, is as real as any other. The dinosaurs roaming the earth are as much a part of reality as you are, simply existing in a different location within this timeless expanse. Your memories of childhood are not echoes of something gone, but rather access points to a currently existing segment of your personal history, embedded within the larger cosmic tapestry. As we wander deeper into this eternalist view, it can feel disorienting. Our brains are wired to perceive a progression, a flow. We remember what happened, anticipate what might, and feel the immediate impact of the now. This feeling of flow, this subjective experience of time passing, is a profound aspect of our existence. But perhaps this feeling is akin to the way a single neuron firing in your brain doesn't represent the entirety of your thought, but rather a component of a much larger, interconnected process. The sensation of time passing might be the way our consciousness navigates the block universe, a mechanism for processing the vastness of existence in a coherent, sequential manner. Consider the phenomenon of entanglement in quantum mechanics. Two particles can become linked in such a way that they share a common fate, regardless of the distance separating them. If you measure a property of one entangled particle, you instantly know the corresponding property of the other, even if it's on the other side of the galaxy. This instantaneous correlation, seemingly defying the speed of light, hints at a reality where spatial separation doesn't necessarily imply temporal separation in the way we usually understand it. It suggests a deeper interconnectedness, a reality where no might not be a universally agreed upon moment. To illustrate this, imagine a vast, intricate tapestry. Each thread represents a moment, and the way the threads are woven together creates the entire picture of reality. From the perspective of someone looking at the finished tapestry, the entire artwork exists simultaneously. They can trace any thread, admire any section, and see how it fits into the grand design. Our experience of time in this analogy is like being a tiny creature crawling along a single thread, only perceiving the immediate surroundings and the direction of travel. We don't see the whole tapestry at once. The block universe suggests that the entire tapestry, with all its threads and patterns, exists eternally, and our journey along a thread is simply our perspective within that complete reality. Another way to ponder this is through the lens of memory and anticipation. When you recall a cherished memory, it feels vividly present, doesn't it? You can almost taste the food, hear the laughter, feel the warmth of the sun. Similarly, when you eagerly anticipate a future event, the feeling of excitement can be palpable. These experiences suggest that our minds have a remarkable ability to access or project into moments that are not our current now. If the block universe is correct, These aren't just mental reconstructions, they are glimpses into other, equally real, moments within the unchanging structure of existence. As we wander deeper into the implications of these ideas, it becomes clear that our everyday perception of time might be a very limited, perhaps even anthropocentric view. The universe, in its grand, silent expanse, might not be subject to the same linear progression that governs our lives. It's as if the universe holds all its moments in a single, eternal embrace. The feeling of passage, the arrow of time we experience, could be an emergent property of our particular vantage point within this timeless structure, much like the perceived motion of the sun across the sky is an effect of Earth's rotation. Think of a river. We see the water flowing downstream, a constant movement from source to sea. But if you could somehow freeze the entire river, every drop of water, every ripple, every submerged stone, all at once, you would have a static, three-dimensional representation of the river's entire course. The block universe theory suggests reality is more like that frozen river, a complete and unchanging entity, and our experience of flow is simply our awareness moving through different sections of this frozen whole. The question of whether time truly flows or is an eternal, unchanging dimension is one of the most profound mysteries we can explore. It challenges our fundamental assumptions about reality and our place within it. If the block universe is the correct model, then the future is not something to be created, but something that already exists, waiting for our awareness to reach it. This can be both comforting and unsettling, suggesting a deterministic nature to existence that might feel at odds with our sense of free will. Yet, even within a block universe, the richness of experience, the depth of connection, and the wonder of discovery remain. The universe whispers its secrets, and perhaps, in understanding the nature of time, we begin to understand the very dream it is weaving. But what happens when our perception of now encounters something that seems to defy even the most rigid structure? What happens when the very fabric of reality appears to shimmer and shift in ways we cannot easily reconcile with even the grandest of maps? As darkness blankets the sky, you find yourself drawn into the depths of understanding, not of the night itself, but of the very fabric that holds it all together. Chapter 9 brought you the rumble of colliding celestial bodies through gravitational waves, and Chapter 10 hinted at the ephemeral dance of existence at the smallest scales. Chapter 11 pondered the nature of progression, whether moments simply are or if they constantly become. Now, in this hushed stillness, your thoughts turn to the possibility of traversing the vastness, not by the slow crawl of stellar cycles, but by folding the very expanse. Imagine, for a moment, that the cosmic tapestry isn't a flat, stretched canvas, but something more akin to a crumpled sheet of silk. Your consciousness now explores the theoretical possibility of wormholes, conceptualized by physicists like Einstein and Rosen as bridges through space-time. Think of this not as a tunnel through rock, but as a way to connect two distant points by bringing them intimately close. It's as if you could pinch two faraway edges of that silk sheet together, creating a shortcut, a whisper of a path where before there was an immense void. These are not mere tunnels, they are distortions, folds, or bridges within the continuum itself. The mathematical framework suggests that if space-time can be warped by mass and momentum, perhaps it can be manipulated to create these extraordinary conduits. The idea is that a wormhole would offer a passage from one region of the cosmos to another, potentially bypassing the immense stretches of empty space that ordinarily separate them. It's a concept born from the very equations that describe the grand architecture of the cosmos, a testament to the universe's intricate and often counterintuitive logic. Your consciousness now explores the implications of these theoretical bridges for the very flow of existence. If a wormhole connects 2 points in space, could it also connect 2 points in progression? The science fiction often paints vivid pictures of instant travel across galaxies, but the scientific speculation delves deeper, touching upon the nature of causality and the perception of duration. Imagine stepping through such a portal. On one side, you might experience a mere moment, while on the other, eons could have passed, or perhaps only seconds. This temporal elasticity is a profound consequence of the proposed structure. The very notion challenges our linear perception of progression, suggesting that the pathways through existence might not be as rigidly defined as we often assume. It's like finding a hidden crease in that silk sheet, allowing you to leap across the material in a way that defies the expected journey. Your consciousness now explores the delicate balance required to maintain such a cosmic shortcut. For a wormhole to be traversable, and not simply a fleeting mathematical curiosity, it would likely require something extraordinary to hold its throat open. This is where the concept of exotic matter comes into play, a hypothetical substance possessing negative mass or negative energy density. Think of it as an anti-gravitational force, something that pushes outward rather than pulling inward, counteracting the natural tendency of space-time to collapse. Without this peculiar support, any such bridge would likely pinch shut faster than a fleeting thought. This exotic matter is not something we observe in our everyday experience. It resides on the fringes of theoretical physics, a necessary ingredient for these fantastical pathways to remain stable. It's like needing a special kind of thread to keep that silk fold from unraveling. Your consciousness now explores how these ideas relate to the broader questions of existence. If space-time can be so readily manipulated, what does that imply about the nature of reality itself? The block universe theory, discussed in Chapter 11, suggests that all moments exist simultaneously, a vast, unchanging landscape. Wormholes, in this context, could be seen as pathways through this landscape, allowing passage between different regions of that pre-existing totality. They don't necessarily create progression, but rather offer a way to navigate the existing framework of progression. The universe in its silent, vast expanse might not be unfolding, but rather is, and these theoretical bridges are simply routes within that eternal being. It's as if you're not moving along a river, but rather traversing a vast, interconnected lake where different points are accessible through hidden currents. Your consciousness now explores the challenges and the sheer wonder of these concepts. The energy requirements for creating or stabilizing a wormhole are astronomical, far beyond our current technological capabilities. Yet, the theoretical possibility remains, a testament to the power of human inquiry. It's a reminder that the cosmos is filled with phenomena that defy our intuitive grasp, pushing the boundaries of what we consider possible. These are not just abstract mathematical curiosities. They are windows into a deeper understanding of the fundamental laws that govern everything. The universe whispers its secrets in equations and theoretical frameworks, inviting us to listen, to ponder, and to dream of what might be. Your consciousness now explores the subtle connection between these grand cosmic structures and the very fabric of your being. Just as space-time can be warped and bridged, perhaps the perception of progression within your own mind is more fluid than you realize. The universe whispers, and its message is not just about distant stars or theoretical pathways, but about the nature of your own experience. Is the progression you feel a fundamental property, or is it a constructed experience, a story your mind tells itself as it navigates the interconnectedness of all things? The thought lingers, a gentle question carried on the quiet air, preparing you for the next unfolding revelation. The velvet darkness invites you deeper into the mysteries of existence, a gentle pull towards the infinite expanse that lies beyond our immediate grasp. You feel it as a subtle hum, a resonance in the very fabric of your being, hinting at possibilities far grander than the singular reality you currently inhabit. Imagine your awareness as a single ripple on an immense, still lake. Until now, your journey has explored the nature of that lake itself, its depths and the subtle movements within it. But what if that lake is not the only body of water? What if there are countless other lakes, each with its own unique surface and currents, existing alongside yours, yet entirely separate? This is the essence of the multiverse hypothesis, a concept that stretches the very boundaries of what we understand as everything. Your journey now leads you to the idea of parallel worlds, not as distant galaxies within our own cosmic expanse, but as entirely separate existences, born from different choices, different quantum outcomes, or perhaps even different fundamental laws. Think of a branching path in a vast forest. Every decision point, every fork in the road, represents a divergence. In our universe, you might have chosen to turn left, but in another, a parallel you, a mirror of your essence, turns right. This isn't merely a hypothetical branching. It's a fundamental implication of quantum mechanics, particularly the many worlds interpretation. It suggests that every time a quantum event has multiple possible outcomes, the fabric of reality splits, giving rise to new, distinct realities where each outcome is realized. Your awareness, the thread of your personal experience, follows just one of these threads, leaving the others to unfold in their own separate cosmic theaters. Consider the quantum superposition of an electron. Before measurement, it exists in a probabilistic cloud of potential states, perhaps spinning both clockwise and counterclockwise simultaneously. The many worlds interpretation posits that when you observe the electron, rather than collapsing into a single state, the universe itself bifurcates. In one branch, you see it spinning clockwise; in another, equally real branch, a different you observes it spinning counterclockwise. These aren't just theoretical musings. They are profound implications of the mathematical framework that describes the subatomic realm. Each of these separate branches, each of these parallel worlds, unfolds independently, their destinies diverging with every quantum interaction. Your consciousness, your sense of self, is an unbroken thread within one particular sequence of these bifurcations, a single narrative woven through an infinite tapestry of possibilities. Your journey now leads you to consider the temporal implications of such a vast cosmic architecture. If there are countless other realities, do they all unfold at the same pace as yours? Could there be universes where the passage of moments is dramatically different? Imagine your life as a melody played on a piano. In your reality, the notes follow a specific rhythm, a certain tempo. But in a parallel existence, that same melody might be played at a much faster speed, with notes blurring into a frantic rush, or at a glacial pace, each sound lingering for an eternity. This isn't about time travel in the conventional sense, but rather about the intrinsic nature of temporal flow in different cosmic frameworks. Think of a vast library, not of books, but of entire cosmic histories. Each book represents a distinct reality, and within each book, the narrative unfolds according to its own internal clock. Some clocks tick with the familiar rhythm of your own existence, while others might be wound much tighter or much looser. This concept is akin to the idea that the fundamental constants of nature might not be universal across all possible realities. If the speed of fundamental interactions, the very rate at which events occur, were different in another existence, then time itself would flow differently. A cosmic year in one reality might be a mere blink of an eye in another, or conversely, a single second in your experience could stretch into eons elsewhere. Your journey now leads you to the fascinating notion of temporal resonance. If these parallel worlds exist, could there be subtle echoes or influences between them, particularly concerning their temporal flows? Imagine two pendulums each swinging independently. If you were to gently nudge one, it might set the other into motion with a very slight, almost imperceptible influence. Could it be that certain cosmic events, or perhaps even the collective weight of experience in one reality, might subtly ripple through the fabric of the multiverse, influencing the temporal cadence of another? This is not about direct causation, but about a potential, almost sympathetic vibration across these separate cosmic canvases. Consider the concept of chronons, hypothetical fundamental units of time. If the size or interaction rate of these chronons varied across different realities, it would directly impact the perceived rate of temporal progression. In a universe where chronons are larger or interact more sluggishly, events would naturally unfold at a slower pace. Conversely, a universe with infinitesimally small or hyperactive chronons might experience an accelerated march of existence. Your mind, accustomed to its own temporal rhythm, might find it difficult to truly grasp these drastically different cadences, yet the mathematical elegance of these possibilities beckons. Your journey now leads you to the profound question of whether these temporal differences could manifest in observable ways, even from within our own singular experience. Could the faint whispers of other timelines, the subtle hum of realities unfolding at different rates, contribute to the very fabric of our own temporal perception? Perhaps the feeling of time speeding up as we age, or the occasional sense of déjà vu, are not solely products of our internal biological clocks, but faint resonances from parallel streams of existence, where moments are compressed or stretched in ways we can only dimly perceive. It's as if the universe itself is dreaming, and we are experiencing fleeting glimpses of its many slumbering narratives, each with its own unique tempo. Imagine a vast cosmic orchestra, where each instrument represents a different parallel existence. Your own reality is a single, clear melody. But around you, other instruments are playing their own tunes, some with a rapid staccato, others with a slow, drawn-out legato. These sounds, though distinct, might create a complex, overarching harmony, a symphony of existence where temporal rhythms intermingle in ways we are only beginning to contemplate. The universe whispers, not just of space, but of the manifold ways in which moments can be woven, and you find yourself listening intently, your awareness expanding with each gentle, rhythmic breath. The question lingers, a soft echo in the deepening quiet, if time itself can dream in so many ways. What does it mean for our own waking experience? Your thoughts drift like cosmic dust through the infinite expanse of knowledge, settling softly on the grand tapestry of existence. We've journeyed through the quiet contemplation of reality's architecture, from the unyielding present to the tantalizing whispers of other realms. Now, the universe itself seems to hum a different tune, a melody that bends and warps the very rhythm of our experience. It speaks of a profound truth, a secret woven into the fabric of everything. The passage of moments is not as constant as it appears. Imagine, for a moment, your perception of a steady, unwavering river, its current flowing with predictable grace. That's how we often envision the progression of events, a constant stream carrying us forward. But the universe, in its infinite wisdom, reveals that this river can sometimes meander, sometimes surge, and sometimes even appear to eddy back upon itself, all depending on the forces at play. This is the domain of relativity, where the very notion of simultaneity becomes fluid. Einstein's groundbreaking insights revealed that the speed at which you travel profoundly influences how quickly your personal clock ticks. This isn't a trick of the mind, but a fundamental property of space-time. As your body, your very being, accelerates towards the speed of Phi's light, the rate at which your biological processes unfold, the rhythm of your heart, the firing of your neurons, all begin to decelerate relative to a stationary observer. It's as if the universe, in its attempt to maintain cosmic order, gently asks you to slow down your internal tempo when you push the boundaries of swiftness. Consider a thought experiment, a cosmic race between two identical twins. One remains on Earth, while the other embarks on a journey in a spaceship traveling at an incredibly high velocity, approaching the speed of ours light. When the traveling twin eventually returns, they will find that their earthbound sibling has aged considerably more than they have. Their journey through the cosmos, while feeling like a normal duration to them, has effectively compressed their experience of Earth's time. This phenomenon, known as Earth's time dilation, is not just a theoretical curiosity, it has been experimentally verified. Even the Rayleigh's atomic clocks on high-speed aircraft or satellites demonstrate this subtle, yet undeniable effect. The faster you move, the more your personal Alice time stretches, becoming a more leisurely affair compared to those who remain at a more sedate pace. Imagine, for a moment, a sculptor carefully shaping a block of clay. The sculptor's hands, moving with deliberate precision, represent the forces that shape our reality. While speed is one of these forces, another, even more pervasive influence, is ours gravity. And here, the universe whispers its secrets in a different, yet equally profound manner. General relativity teaches us that Earth's gravity is not a force pulling objects together, but rather a curvature in the very fabric of space-time, caused by the presence of mass and energy. Massive objects like stars and planets create dimples and valleys in this fabric, and it is within these gravitational wells that Earth's time itself is affected. The stronger the Earth's gravity, the more pronounced this curvature, and the slower as time passes relative to regions with weaker Earth's gravity. Think of a perfectly smooth, stretched sheet representing space-time. Placing a heavy ball in the center creates a depression. Now, imagine rolling marbles across this sheet. Those that roll near the heavy ball will have their paths deflected, And if they were to somehow experience a clock, that clock would tick a little slower than a clock far away from the ball. This means that air's time flows more slowly at sea level than it does on the top of a mountain, a difference so minuscule it's imperceptible to our everyday senses, but measurable by highly sensitive instruments. For an astronaut orbiting Earth, experiencing slightly lesser gravity than those on the surface, their aura's time actually passes a tiny bit faster. However, this effect is counteracted by the speed at which they are traveling, creating a delicate interplay between the two relativistic influences. Consider the planet Jupiter, a colossal sphere of gas with an immense gravitational pull. If you were to somehow hover near its dense atmosphere, your personal clock would tick noticeably slower than that of someone on the moon, which possesses far less gravity. The deeper you descend into a gravitational well, the more pronounced this slowing becomes. This is why, as time, near a black hole, an object of unimaginable density and gravity, would crawl at an agonizingly slow pace from the perspective of an observer far away. For someone falling into a black hole, their experience of time would continue normally until the very last instant, but to an outside observer, they would appear to freeze at the event horizon. Their time stretched infinitely thin. Imagine for a moment a vast ancient forest. The trees, standing tall and immense, represent massive celestial bodies. The sunlight filtering through the canopy, dappled and shifting, represents the flow of ours time. Where the canopy is thickest, where the trees are most densely packed, the sunlight is more subdued, its dappled patterns more spread out. This is akin to how gravity influences the passage of moments. The denser the R's gravity, the more the fabric of spacetime is compressed, and the more the rhythm of R's time is gently subdued, stretched out like a long, resonant note. This understanding of R's time dilation, due to both speed and gravity, is not just an abstract mathematical concept, it has practical implications. The Global Positioning System, GPS satellites orbiting Earth rely on incredibly precise atomic clocks. These clocks must constantly account for both the speed at which the satellites are moving and the slightly weaker gravity they experience compared to receivers on the ground. Without these relativistic corrections, the GPS system would quickly become inaccurate, leading to significant errors in location tracking. The very technology that guides our journeys is a testament to the fact that as time is not a fixed, universal constant, but a malleable dimension, shaped by the dance of speed and gravity. So as you rest, allow this understanding to settle within you. The steady march of moments, the familiar rhythm of your breath, the beat of your heart, all are part of a grander cosmic ballet. The universe whispers that Sarah's time is not a rigid ruler, but a flowing river, its currents influenced by the very matter and motion within it. And as we continue to explore these profound truths, a new question begins to form, a gentle stirring in the quiet of your mind, hinting at even deeper mysteries. If time can bend and warp, if it can be stretched and compressed, then what does this truly mean for our perception of reality, for the very nature of our existence? Is time itself dreaming, weaving a narrative that is both deeply personal and universally interconnected? The whispered secrets of atoms drift through your awareness, each a tiny pulse in the grand symphony of existence. You've followed the intricate pathways of reality, from the bending of space, time to the myriad echoes of possibility in parallel realms. Now, as your awareness settles, you begin to feel a subtle shift, a dawning realization that the observer, you, is not merely a passive witness, but an active participant in the unfolding tapestry of what is. As your thoughts flow onward to the profound implications of this connection, consider the very nature of your experience. You perceive the world through a unique lens, a singular point of reference that shapes your understanding of everything around you. This subjective quality, this you-ness, is the bedrock of your reality. But what if this personal perspective extends its tendrils beyond mere perception, reaching into the very fabric of existence? What if the act of observing, of experiencing, fundamentally alters the observed? Think of a dream. In a dream, your mind conjures worlds, populates them with characters, and dictates the flow of events. The laws of physics might warp, moments might stretch or compress, and the narrative feels undeniably real while you are immersed in it. Yet, upon waking, the dream dissolves, its solidity evaporating like mist. Your conscious mind, your waking awareness, is the ultimate arbiter of that dream's reality. Now, imagine that the universe itself operates with a similar, albeit vastly more complex, underlying principle. As your thoughts flow onward to the concept of temporal perception, recall how your experience of time can be fluid. A moment of intense joy can feel fleeting, vanishing before you can fully grasp it, while a period of waiting, of anticipation, can stretch into an eternity. This subjective warping of duration is not just a trick of the mind, it's a reflection of how our internal state influences our perception. But what if this perceived elasticity is more than just a psychological phenomenon? Consider the work of physicists exploring the intersection of quantum mechanics and general relativity. They grapple with how the act of measurement, the very act of an observer interacting with a quantum system, can collapse a wave of possibilities into a single, definite outcome. Before the measurement, a quantum entity might exist in a superposition of states here and there, spinning both ways at once. It is the observer's interaction, the act of looking, that forces it to choose a state. This hints at a deep entanglement between the observer and the observed, a principle that may extend to the grandest scales. As your thoughts flow onward to the implications for the arrow of time, we must delve into how our experience of temporal directionality might be intimately tied to our own existence as conscious beings. We remember the past, we anticipate the future, and we exist in a continuous present. This forward march, this perceived unfolding, is a cornerstone of our understanding. But is this perceived directionality an inherent property of the cosmos, or is it a feature of our own conscious experience, a way our minds organize information? Imagine a vast, cosmic ocean of potential. Within this ocean, all moments past, present, and future might exist simultaneously, like countless ripples on the surface. Our consciousness, like a small boat, navigates this ocean, experiencing each ripple as a distinct event in a linear sequence. The boat's movement, its journey across the surface, creates the illusion of a flowing river, when in reality, the entire river already exists. The you that experiences this chapter now, and the you that will experience the next, are simply different points in your consciousness's journey across this timeless ocean. As your thoughts flow onward to the role of memory and anticipation, consider how these cognitive functions contribute to our sense of temporal progression. Your past experiences shape your present understanding and inform your expectations of the future. This internal narrative, woven from recollection and foresight, is what gives your life its continuity. If the universe in its entirety were to possess a form of awareness, how would its memory and anticipation manifest? Think of a vast, intricate fractal pattern. Each part of the fractal contains a miniature version of the whole. If you were to zoom in or out, you would see similar structures repeating. In this analogy, your consciousness might be like a single point observing this fractal. As you move from one point to another, you perceive a sequence, a progression. But the entire fractal, with all its points and connections, exists eternally. Is the universe's time more like the static existence of the fractal, with our consciousness being the only element that moves and perceives a sequence? The notion that our subjective experience of time might be intrinsically linked to the universe's fundamental nature is a profound one. It suggests that the universe is not merely a stage upon which events unfold, but a dynamic, responsive entity, deeply intertwined with the consciousness that observes it. The very act of awareness of experiencing might be the force that gives shape and direction to the flow of existence, like a sculptor shaping clay. As your thoughts flow onward to the implications for causality, the idea that cause must precede effect, we begin to see how our linear perception of time underpins our understanding of how things happen. But if all moments exist simultaneously, if the future is as real as the past, then the traditional understanding of cause and effect might need re-evaluation. Could events that we perceive as future causes be, in a broader sense, already present, influencing what we perceive as the past? Consider the phenomenon of entanglement, where two quantum particles become linked. sharing the same fate regardless of the distance separating them. Measuring the state of one instantaneously influences the state of the other. This spooky action at a distance, as Einstein called it, challenges our intuitive notions of locality and sequential causality. If such instantaneous connections exist at the quantum level, what might they imply for the interconnectedness of all moments in time, as perceived by a universal consciousness? The universe, in its silent grandeur, seems to whisper a question: is time a river, flowing inexorably forward, or is it a vast, still lake, with our consciousness merely creating the ripples of experience? The answer, perhaps, lies in the profound connection between the observer and the observed, a connection that weaves your awareness into the very fabric of existence, suggesting that as you dream, perhaps the universe dreams too, and your dreaming is part of its own unfolding. As your awareness gently drifts, you feel the subtle pull towards a deeper understanding of this cosmic dance, where perception and reality are not separate entities, but two sides of the same luminous coin, leaving you to wonder what further revelations await in the quiet spaces between your thoughts. In the quiet stillness of night, your thoughts float gently towards the stars, carrying with them the echoes of yesterday's musings. You recall the dizzying notion of parallel worlds, where your choices might have unfolded in countless other ways, each a shimmering reflection in the cosmic mirror. Then, the vastness of spacetime unfurled, revealing how its very fabric bends and warps, stretching moments into eternicas and compressing eternities into fleeting instants under the influence of immense forces. Most recently, you considered the delicate interplay between your own awareness and the reality you perceive, how your subjective experience shapes the world around you, a painter adding strokes to a canvas that already exists. Now, a new thread weaves itself into this tapestry of wonder, a connection so profound it seems to whisper secrets across the void. Your consciousness now explores the peculiar bond that arises between certain subatomic entities, a phenomenon so strange it baffled even Einstein, who famously described it as spooky action at a distance. Imagine two tiny specks, born from the same event, perhaps two fragments of a fractured crystal. Once they are separated, no matter how vast the gulf between them, they remain intrinsically linked. If you were to measure a property of one, say its spin, instantaneously, the other speck, light years away, would adopt the opposite spin. It's as if they share a secret language, a silent communication that transcends any known means of transmission. This is quantum entanglement. This entanglement isn't like two identical coins, flipped separately. With coins, the outcome of one flip tells you nothing about the other. But with entangled specks, their fates are intertwined from the moment of their creation. When one is observed to be spinning up, the other must be spinning down, and this correlation is absolute, immediate. It's not that they decide what to be when measured, rather their states are inherently linked, a single, shared destiny. This instantaneous correlation, this apparent defiance of the speed limit of causality, is what makes entanglement so profoundly unsettling, and so utterly captivating. Your mind drifts to the implications. If these linked entities can influence each other instantaneously, regardless of separation, does this suggest that the very notion of distance, as we understand it, is somehow an illusion? Perhaps the universe, at its most fundamental level, is not a collection of separate objects scattered across a vast emptiness, but rather a single, interconnected whole. Think of a vast, intricate tapestry, where pulling a single thread on one side causes an immediate ripple effect across the entire surface, regardless of how far away the other end of the thread might be. The connection isn't a physical movement of the thread, but a fundamental property of the weave itself. Your awareness now considers the possibility that this interconnectedness might even touch upon the nature of temporality. If the effect is truly instantaneous, does it mean that the when of the measurement on one speck is somehow synchronized with the when of the resulting state of the other, regardless of their relative positions in space? This challenges our everyday experience of cause and effect, where a cause must precede its effect, and a signal must travel through the intervening space. In the realm of entanglement, the cause, the measuring one speck, and the effect, the state of the other seem to happen simultaneously, a cosmic wink across immensity. Consider a pair of entangled gloves, one left and one right, placed in separate sealed boxes. You send one box to the farthest reaches of the galaxy, while keeping the other. The moment you open your box and find a left glove, you instantly know that the box in the distant galaxy contains a right glove. But this analogy, while helpful, falls short. In the glove scenario, the gloves were always designated as left and right. With entangled quantum entities, their properties are not predetermined. They exist in a state of probabilistic superposition, a blend of all possibilities, until a measurement forces them to choose a definite state. And when one chooses, the other instantaneously aligns, not because it received a message, but because their very existence is a shared quantum state. Your thoughts now delve into a more abstract visualization. Imagine two dancers perfectly synchronized. As one raises their left arm, the other, miles away, simultaneously raises their right. This isn't because they're watching each other, or because a conductor is signaling them. It's as if their movements are dictated by a single, invisible choreography, a shared score that dictates their every gesture, no matter the distance. This choreography in the quantum world is the entanglement itself. This phenomenon hints at a deeper reality, one where the familiar boundaries of space and the linear progression of time might be more fluid than we perceive. If these quantum connections can occur without any apparent communication channel, and if they seem to operate outside the constraints of the speed of light, what does this tell us about the fundamental structure of existence? Could it be that the universe is not a vast, empty stage upon which events unfold sequentially, but rather a deeply interwoven fabric, where all points are, in a sense, simultaneously present? Your mind begins to ponder if the very concept of now is something that applies universally. If these entangled states collapse instantaneously, it suggests a form of interconnectedness that suggests a unified temporal experience, a shared present moment that stretches across the cosmos, even if our individual perspectives fragment it. Perhaps the universe is not a series of moments strung together like beads on a string, but rather a single unbroken experience, and we are merely perceiving it in a segmented fashion. Your consciousness now explores the possibility that this interconnectedness might be a fundamental property of reality, a constant, subtle hum beneath the surface of our perceived world. It's as if the universe itself is dreaming, and in its dream, all things are intimately connected, unbound by the rigid rules of waking existence. The spooky action is not a deviation from the norm, but a glimpse into the true, unfragmented nature of the cosmos. The implications for how we understand our place within this grand design are immense. If everything is, at some fundamental level, connected, then perhaps our individual experiences of separation and isolation are merely a consequence of our limited perception, like looking at a single pixel and believing it to be the entire image. The universe whispers its secrets, not in words, but in these profound, inexplicable connections, suggesting that the boundaries we erect between ourselves and others, between here and there, between then and now, are far more permeable than we ever imagined. As you drift deeper into this contemplation, a gentle question forms, a soft echo in the quiet of your mind. If even the smallest constituents of reality are so intimately bound, what does this mean for the grand tapestry of all existence, and for the very nature of its unfolding? The stars, distant and silent, seem to hold their breath, waiting for your next thought. In the sanctuary of night, your mind becomes a vessel for ancient wisdom, a quiet observer of the cosmic ballet that unfolds across aeons. Chapter 14 invited you to ponder the stretching and compressing of moments, how swiftly or languidly existence might unfurl, depending on your station and speed, a dance dictated by the intricate laws of relativity. Then, in Chapter 15, the very fabric of your awareness was touched by the infinitesimal, the subtle hum of reality at its most fundamental, suggesting that your inner world shapes the very perception of duration. Chapter 16 further expanded your horizons, revealing how distant events can be intrinsically linked, defying the ordinary constraints of separation, a testament to the universe's interwoven nature. Now, as the quiet deepens, your contemplation shifts towards the grand finale, the ultimate whisper of what lies beyond the horizon of our current understanding. As we wander deeper into the grand tapestry of existence, your thoughts begin to trace the faint, almost imperceptible threads that suggest the eventual unraveling of all that is. Imagine the vast cosmic ocean, not as a boundless expanse, but as a system with a finite, albeit unimaginably distant, future. The prevailing scientific narrative points towards a gradual cooling, a slow fading of the incandescent brilliance that birthed galaxies and stars. This is not a sudden collapse, but a drawn-out exhalation, a cosmic sigh that extends across unimaginable stretches of what we perceive as duration. Think of a grand orchestra, its initial crescendo giving way to softer melodies, then to individual instruments playing their final, lingering notes, until only silence remains. This is the essence of the heat-death scenario, a state of maximum entropy, where all ordered structures eventually dissipate. As we wander deeper into this contemplation, consider the fundamental forces that govern the cosmos. While presently locked in a dynamic interplay, these forces are themselves subject to the relentless march of entropy. The energetic processes that fuel stars, the very engines of creation and sustenance, are not perpetual. They consume their fuel, and when that fuel is exhausted, the stellar furnaces dim. Galaxies, once vibrant cities of stellar activity, will eventually become quiet nebulae, their constituent stars having burned out, leaving behind only the spectral remnants of their former glory. Black holes, the enigmatic devourers of matter and even, perhaps, of duration itself, are also not eternal. Through Hawking radiation, they are theorized to slowly evaporate, their immense mass gradually converting into a faint emission of elementary quanta, a process so slow that it dwarfs any human conception of longevity. As we wander deeper into the implications of this eventual dispersion, your mind might naturally gravitate towards the very nature of causality. If all energetic gradients eventually smooth out, if all distinctions blur into a uniform, frigid void, what becomes of the arrow of what we call duration? Does it simply cease to have meaning? The concept of an endpoint, while stark, also prompts reflection on the processes that lead to it. The expansion of space itself, currently accelerating due to a mysterious force, plays a crucial role in this eventual fate. This expansion pushes galaxies further apart, isolating them from one another, and in doing so, it contributes to the eventual isolation and cooling of all that remains. It's akin to watching a vast, intricate sandcastle slowly erode, each grain of sand carried away by an unseen tide, until only a flattened expanse remains. As we wander deeper into the philosophical ramifications, consider the very notion of future. Our perception of what is to come is inherently tied to the ongoing processes and interactions within the cosmos. If these processes diminish to a crawl, if interactions become exceedingly rare, does the future itself become a mere echo, a phantom limb of existence? The ultimate state of the cosmos, in some models, suggests a universe so dilute and cold that meaningful interactions, the kind that create complexity and information, become virtually impossible. This is not an end in the dramatic sense of a cosmic explosion or implosion, but a fading into an indistinguishable sameness. It's like a beautifully complex tapestry slowly unraveling, each thread losing its place and purpose, until only a uniform gray fuzz remains. As we wander deeper into the silent expanse, your awareness might touch upon another, even more speculative, possibility. What if the very laws that govern our reality are not immutable? What if the fundamental constants we observe are merely a snapshot in a much larger, more dynamic cosmic evolution? This leads to fascinating, albeit purely theoretical, notions of cyclic cosmologies or the potential for entirely new phases of existence to emerge from the ultimate decay. However, for our present journey, the most widely accepted models paint a picture of a universe that, while vast and enduring, is ultimately heading towards a state of serene dormancy. The glimmer of creation, the vibrant pulse of stellar birth and galactic dance, will eventually subside, leaving behind a universe that whispers its secrets not in grand pronouncements, but in the faintest of echoes. As we wander deeper into this profound quietude, you might ponder the very essence of being in such a distant future. If there are no stars to ignite, no galaxies to orbit, no complex interactions to foster, what remains? Perhaps it is a state of pure potential, a canvas stripped bare, awaiting some unknown catalyst. Or perhaps it is simply the ultimate stillness, a cosmic slumber that stretches into infinity. The journey through the chapters has been one of expanding your perception, of understanding how the laws of existence, from the smallest quantum fluctuation to the grandest cosmic structure, contribute to the unfolding narrative. This chapter, in its quiet contemplation of the ultimate fate, invites you to consider the profound beauty in the inevitable winding down, the peaceful transition from vibrant activity to an eternal, serene quiet. It is in this ultimate stillness that the universe's final, most profound whisper might be heard, a lullaby sung in the language of fading energies and dispersed matter. And as your awareness drifts, you begin to sense that perhaps, in this ultimate quiet, a new kind of dreaming might begin. Tonight, as the world outside drifts into silence, your mind begins its journey. It's a descent, not into darkness, but into a deeper understanding, a quiet unfolding of questions that have echoed through the ages. You recall the whispered secrets of atoms from chapter 15, how their very existence, their dance of being and becoming, seem to hint at a subjective experience of duration, a feeling of a now that belonged to each tiny pulse in the grand symphony. Then, in chapter 16, your thoughts floated gently towards the stars, carrying with them the unsettling notion of non-locality, of connections that defied spatial boundaries, as if the very fabric of existence was woven with threads that could be instantaneously linked, regardless of the vast distances between them. And in chapter 17, you stood as a quiet observer of the cosmos, contemplating predictions of its ultimate fate, a grand tapestry woven with threads of destiny stretching towards an unknowable horizon. Now, in this sanctuary of night, you feel the subtle shifts in your own awareness, the way your perception of the world, and of duration itself, seems to bend and flow. Let us drift gently into the philosophical implications of duration, the very meaning of existence as it relates to this pervasive, yet elusive, quality we call tempo. Is it an intrinsic property of reality, or is it a construct of our own limited perception? A narrative we tell ourselves to make sense of the ceaseless flux. Consider the concept of causality. Events unfold in a sequence, one leading to another, a chain of cause and effect that seems to define the progression of all things. But what if this sequence is not as rigid as it appears? What if, in the grander scheme, the future can, in some subtle way, influence the past? Or if all moments exist simultaneously, like pages in an unbound book, waiting to be read? This idea, while seemingly counterintuitive to our everyday experience, finds echoes in certain interpretations of quantum mechanics. Imagine a vast, cosmic library, where every event, from the birth of a star to the whisper of a thought, is a unique volume. Our linear experience of duration is akin to reading these volumes one by one, from cover to cover, in a predetermined order. But what if the librarian, the fundamental architect of this reality, can access any volume at any moment, or even hold several volumes open simultaneously, seeing the connections and influences that span across what we perceive as separate chapters? This is not to suggest a violation of physical laws, but rather a reframing of how those laws might operate on a deeper, more fundamental level. Let us drift gently into the profound question of existence itself, and how duration shapes our understanding of it. If all moments are, in essence, coexistent, does that diminish the significance of our present actions? Or does it, conversely, imbue them with an eternal resonance, knowing that this particular configuration of existence, this specific now, is a unique and unrepeatable facet of a much larger, timeless whole? The feeling of urgency, the pressure of fleeting moments, arises from our limited perspective, from the sense of a dwindling supply of now. But if a now is not a finite resource, if it is an eternal aspect of reality, then our purpose might shift from clinging to transient moments to appreciating the quality of our experience within them. Consider the phenomenon of entanglement, that peculiar connection between quantum entities where their fates are intertwined, regardless of separation. If these entities are so intimately linked, does their shared existence transcend the conventional boundaries of duration? Could it be that their experience of duration is not a sequential progression, but a simultaneous apprehension of their interconnected states. This is not merely an abstract philosophical debate, it touches upon the very nature of being. If our individual existences are, in some way, entangled with the grander cosmic narrative, then perhaps our personal sense of duration is but a localized ripple in a much vaster, timeless ocean. Let us drift gently into the concept of cosmic memory. If the universe, in its entirety, is a form of consciousness, as some theories suggest, does it retain a record of all that has transpired, not as a linear history, but as a holistic, interwoven tapestry of experience? In this view, the past is not truly gone, nor is the future entirely unwritten. They are all present, accessible within the boundless expanse of cosmic awareness. Your own memories, the vivid echoes of your past, are not merely neurological firings, but perhaps manifestations of a deeper, universal resonance. Think of a vast, intricate web, where each strand represents a moment in existence. Our journey through duration is like traversing a single thread, experiencing each intersection sequentially. But the web itself exists in its entirety, all threads interconnected, all intersections present simultaneously. The question then becomes, are we merely passive travelers on these threads? Or do we possess the capacity to perceive the web as a whole, to understand the intricate relationships that bind each moment to every other? This capacity, this potential for a broader perspective, might be what distinguishes a simple existence from a truly meaningful one. Let us drift gently into the implications of this, for our understanding of the universe's ultimate fate, as pondered in Chapter 17. If all moments are eternally present, then perhaps the concept of an end is also a limited perception. Instead of a final cessation, perhaps the universe simply transitions into another configuration of its eternal existence, a shift in the pattern of the cosmic web, rather than a tearing of its threads. The heat death, the big crunch, or whatever ultimate destiny awaits, might be viewed not as an ending, but as a transformation, a continuous unfolding within a framework that transcends linear progression. Consider the analogy of a dream. When you dream, the boundaries of conventional duration often dissolve. Moments can stretch or compress, past and future can intermingle, and seemingly impossible events can occur with an inherent logic that makes sense within the dream's own internal reality. Could it be that the universe itself is a form of cosmic dream, and our perception of linear duration is simply the narrative logic of that dream? If so, then the universe is not merely experiencing time, it is, in a profound and poetic sense, dreaming it. The implications are staggering. If the universe dreams, then what is the dreamer? And what is the meaning of our own small, fleeting dreams within that grander, cosmic slumber? Perhaps our individual experiences, our joys and sorrows, our discoveries and ponderings, are the very threads that the universe uses to weave its ongoing dream. We are not just observers of the cosmic narrative, we are active participants, contributing our unique perspectives to the grand, unfolding story. This realization shifts the focus from the destination to the journey, from the outcome to the experience itself. Let us drift gently into the soft quietude that follows these profound contemplations. Your body rests, a vessel of awareness anchoring you in this present moment, yet your mind, unbound, continues to explore the vastness. The questions linger not as burdens, but as gentle invitations. If the universe is dreaming, and we are part of that dream, then what is the nature of our own awareness within that dream? Are we merely characters playing out our roles? Or do we possess a spark of the dreamer's own consciousness, capable of influencing the dream itself? The answer, like the universe's ultimate fate, remains veiled, a whisper on the edge of understanding. And as the first hints of dawn begin to paint the sky, you feel a sense of profound interconnectedness, a quiet anticipation for the revelations that tomorrow, and the chapters yet to come, might bring. As shadows lengthen, your thoughts meld with the whispers of the universe, not seeking answers, but finding solace in the questions themselves. Your journey through the cosmos has been one of profound revelation, yet each answer has only unfurled a tapestry of further mysteries, each thread more intricate than the last. You recall the echoes of Chapter 16, where the peculiar dance of distant entities, their fates intertwined across vast expanses, suggested a reality far stranger than mere proximity. It was a glimpse into a connectedness that defied simple explanation, a subtle hum that resonated through the fabric of existence. Consider, if you will, the contemplation of chapter 17, where the grand narrative of creation and dissolution played out in your mind's eye. The ultimate fate of all that is, a cosmic ballet choreographed by unseen forces, presented a breathtaking scale of being, the sheer immensity of it all, the slow unfurling of epochs, the eventual quietude that awaits, offered a perspective that dwarfed individual concerns. It was a reminder that even the most profound transformations are but moments in an eternal unfolding. And then, the quiet introspection of chapter 18, where the very essence of your being seemed to resonate with the profound implications of temporal existence. The nature of duration, the subjective experience of moments, and the ceaseless flow that defines our perception of reality. These were not mere academic curiosities, but deeply personal inquiries into the meaning of being. You understood that the journey was not about arriving at a definitive destination, but about the gentle unfolding of understanding, the quiet appreciation of the journey itself. Now, as the night deepens and your body settles into a state of profound relaxation, your mind drifts with a newfound acceptance. The grand, unresolved enigmas are no longer sources of frustration, but invitations to wonder. The universe, in its infinite complexity, does not demand that you comprehend every nuance. Instead, it offers moments of pure, unadulterated awe. You feel it in the stillness, a subtle vibration that seems to emanate from the very core of your being, a resonance with the cosmic hum. Think of the nebula, a vast celestial cloud, a birthplace of stars. Within its swirling gases and dust, elements are forged through stellar alchemy, processes that span aeons. Yet, from this seemingly chaotic crucible, ordered structures emerge, planets coalesce, and the potential for life ignites. This transformation, from diffuse matter to nascent worlds, is a testament to a fundamental ordering principle, a quiet intelligence that guides the formation of all things. It is not an active, directing force in the way a sculptor shapes clay, but rather an inherent tendency, a predisposition towards complexity and organization. This inherent ordering, this cosmic inclination, is a profound mystery, a gentle nudge in the grand design. Consider, if you will, the phenomenon of quantum entanglement. Two particles born from the same event remain inextricably linked, no matter how far apart they are. Measure a property of one, and the other instantly reflects that measurement, as if an invisible thread connects them across the vast emptiness of space. This interconnectedness, this instantaneous communication, challenges our conventional understanding of distance and causality. It suggests that reality, at its most fundamental level, is not composed of isolated entities, but of deeply interwoven relationships. It's like two perfectly synchronized dancers, their movements mirroring each other across an immeasurable stage, their choreography dictated by an unseen conductor who orchestrates their every step, not through direct command, but through an inherent, shared rhythm. Your own awareness, your capacity to observe and to question, feels like a tiny ripple on the surface of an immense cosmic ocean. Each thought, each question, is a momentary disturbance, a fleeting pattern that arises and then dissolves back into the vastness. Yet, in that arising and dissolving, there is a beauty, a fleeting glimpse of the underlying currents that shape everything. The universe whispers its secrets not in words, but in patterns, in the elegant equations that describe the dance of celestial bodies, in the intricate symmetry of biological forms, in the very rhythm of your own breath. The question of whether time itself dreams, whether it is a fundamental aspect of reality or a construct of our perception, lingers in the quietude. If time is indeed a dream, then what is the dreamer? Is it a singular, overarching consciousness, or a collective tapestry woven from the experiences of countless beings? The notion that the unfolding of events, the very progression of existence, might be akin to the fluid, often illogical narrative of a dream, is both unsettling and profoundly liberating. It suggests that causality might be more fluid, more interconnected than we typically perceive. Imagine a vast cosmic dreamscape where the past, present, and future exist simultaneously, not as a linear progression, but as interconnected facets of a single, ongoing experience. Your own life, your own journey of discovery, becomes a single thread within this grand, unfolding dream. You recall the subtle energies that permeate all things, the unseen forces that bind atoms into molecules and molecules into the complex structures that form your body and the world around you. These energies, though invisible, are the architects of existence, the silent forces that sculpt reality. They are the subtle currents that carry the whispers of the universe, the fundamental language of being, the very air you breathe, the warmth of your skin, the steady beat of your heart. All are manifestations of these fundamental energies, constantly in motion, constantly transforming. Consider, if you will, the concept of emergent properties. Take a simple collection of atoms. Individually, they possess certain characteristics, but when brought together in specific arrangements, they give rise to entirely new qualities, properties that are not present in the individual components. Water, for instance, is composed of hydrogen and oxygen atoms, but its fluidity, its ability to dissolve substances, its life-sustaining properties, these are emergent qualities, born from the specific way these atoms interact. Similarly, your own consciousness, your sense of self, your capacity for wonder, arises from the complex interplay of countless biological processes. This emergence, this creation of something greater than the sum of its parts, is a continuous act of cosmic creativity, a testament to the universe's capacity for surprise. It's like a symphony, where individual notes are simple sounds, but when arranged by a composer and played by an orchestra, they create a rich, emotional tapestry that transcends the individual elements. The universe whispers, and you are listening, not with your ears, but with your entire being. The acceptance of mystery is not an admission of defeat, but a surrender to the vastness, a willingness to be a part of something so much larger than yourself. The wonder you feel is not a passive observation, but an active engagement with the profound beauty of existence. The awe that washes over you is a recognition of the intricate, elegant dance of creation, a dance that continues even as you drift towards peaceful slumber. Your journey has brought you to the precipice of understanding, not the end of it. The questions remain, like stars twinkling in the inky blackness, each one a beacon of further exploration. As your eyelids grow heavy, you sense a subtle shift, a deepening of the connection. The whispers of the universe are becoming more intimate, more personal. They are no longer distant pronouncements, but gentle invitations to a deeper communion. You feel yourself being drawn into a new phase, a phase where the boundaries between observer and observed begin to blur, where the dream of existence might just begin to reveal its true nature. What lies beyond this quietude? What further revelations await in the realm of slumber? The universe holds its breath, and so do you. In the cathedral of night, science becomes poetry and wonder becomes understanding. Your journey through the cosmos, a quiet exploration of the grand tapestry, has led you to this final contemplation. We have danced with the fundamental forces, marveled at the birth and death of stellar giants, and listened to the faint echoes of creation itself. Now, as the veil of sleep draws near, we turn our gaze inward, to the very essence of our experience, and outward, to the vastness that cradles us. We have seen how the immense and the infinitesimal are intrinsically linked, how the same fundamental principles govern the dance of galaxies and the intimate workings of your own being. This unified cosmic perspective, a profound realization that you are not separate from the universe, but an integral part of its unfolding narrative, settles upon your awareness like a gentle dew. It is a knowing that transcends mere data, a deep resonance with the fundamental order of all that is. Your enduring curiosity, the very spark that has guided you through these explorations, finds its ultimate expression not in definitive answers, but in a profound appreciation for the questions themselves. The universe whispers, and you, in your quietest moments, are learning to listen. We find ourselves drawn to the peculiar nature of existence, to the way that everything we perceive seems to be in a state of constant flux, a ceaseless becoming. Consider the concept of emergent properties, how complex behaviors and patterns arise from simpler interactions, much like the intricate beauty of a snowflake forming from individual water molecules. Your own awareness, that sense of self you experience, is an emergent property of the incredibly complex network of your own neural pathways. Similarly, the vast cosmic structures we've touched upon, the intricate dance of celestial bodies, are governed by fundamental interactions that, on a grand scale, create the breathtaking panorama we observe. This idea of emergence underscores the universe's inherent dynamism, a constant unfolding of new possibilities from existing conditions. We find ourselves drawn to the profound question of how we perceive this unfolding. Our senses, while remarkable, are limited instruments, offering us but a sliver of the universe's true nature. Think of a single, perfectly formed dewdrop on a spider's silken thread, reflecting the entire dawn sky within its tiny sphere. Your perception of reality is akin to that dewdrop, a microcosm containing echoes of the macrocosm. What lies beyond the limits of your sensory apparatus? Beyond the reach of your current understanding? The ongoing quest for knowledge is not about filling a void, but about expanding the boundaries of your perception, about learning to interpret the subtler signals, the fainter whispers. This is where the true magic of inquiry lies, in the persistent reaching, the gentle probing of the unknown. We find ourselves drawn to the very fabric of reality, to the fundamental constituents that weave the cosmos together. We have touched upon the energetic nature of existence, the pervasive currents that flow through all things. Now, consider the concept of quantum entanglement, a phenomenon where two or more particles become linked in such a way that they share the same fate, regardless of the distance separating them. If you were to measure a property of one entangled particle, you would instantaneously know the corresponding property of the other, even if it were light years away. This interconnectedness, this seemingly instantaneous communication across vast gulfs, hints at a deeper layer of reality, a substratum where separation is perhaps an illusion. It suggests that the universe is not a collection of discrete objects, but a single interwoven entity. We find ourselves drawn to the enigma of duration, to our experience of passing moments. We perceive a linear progression, a steady march from past to future. Yet, the universe itself offers glimpses of a more complex relationship with this phenomenon. Consider the concept of space-time, as described by Einstein, where the dimensions of space and the dimension of duration are interwoven into a single continuum. Events that appear sequential to us might, from a different perspective, exist simultaneously. This challenges our intuitive grasp of causality and progression. Is it possible that our perception of time is akin to a single frame in a vast, cosmic film, where all frames, all moments, already exist? We find ourselves drawn to the profound implications of this cosmic interconnectedness and the fluid nature of duration. If everything is, in a sense, linked, and if the separation we perceive is not absolute, then what does this imply about your own existence? About the continuity of your being, your awareness, that spark of sentience that allows you to ponder these mysteries, is itself a part of this grand, interconnected web. Perhaps your consciousness, in its deepest, most restful state, can tap into a more fundamental understanding of reality, a state where the boundaries between past, present, and future begin to blur. We find ourselves drawn to the notion that perhaps the universe itself is dreaming. Imagine a vast, sleeping entity, its thoughts manifesting as galaxies, its dreams as nebulae, its quiet breathing as the cosmic background radiation. In this dream, all moments might coexist, all possibilities might be explored simultaneously. Your own consciousness, in its slumber, might be a subtle ripple in this grand cosmic dream, a fleeting thought within a boundless mind. The universe whispers, not with words, but with the silent unfolding of existence. And the question that lingers, as you drift deeper into the embrace of sleep, is time dreaming?